The spirit stones are burning way too fast. Awakening 3 times should have been pure good news. But Lin Feng quickly realized the price. The moment his fist intent formed, his body's hunger for spiritual energy turned terrifying, like a bottomless pit that kept widening. And now it made sense why martial artists who triggered their own evolution through training often rose slower than everyone else. It wasn't because they were weak. It was because their consumption was brutal. Spiritual energy was expensive. Spirit stones were even more so. Lin Feng and Zhou Tong had picked up a decent stash during the defense competition, sure. But that kind of opportunity didn't come often, and not everyone could win like that. In that competition, the real payoff belonged to the final winner. Everyone else was basically there as a stepping stone. Unless you could hold the arena for more than 10 rounds, even losing wouldn't earn you more than a single spirit stone. That was how hard they were to get. Even joining a major force didn't guarantee resources. If your cultivation aptitude wasn't outstanding and your portable space talent wasn't valuable, no one was going to support you out of kindness. Spirit stones weren't charity. They were war supplies. Used to fight alien races. And if you took their spirit stones, you paid in blood. When the aliens attacked, or when a conflict broke out with another faction, you'd be ordered to charge first, serve as the shield, be cannon fodder. You wouldn't get to refuse. Unless your value was so high they were afraid to lose you, nobody would hesitate to throw you into the meat grinder. Lin Feng's consumption kept climbing, and it didn't take long for him to feel it. 178 spirit stones. Almost double what he had last week. Yet between his cultivation and the plants inside his space constantly draining energy, it still felt fragile. Not enough. And this wasn't temporary either. The stronger he became, the more spiritual energy he'd need. That rule never changed. After a night of cultivation, with 5 hours of space acceleration running, Lin Feng headed to the Evolutionary Alliance early the next morning. He was there for one thing, a strength test. The Alliance had a standard support system. Different strength tiers received different amounts of spirit stones. Awakening stage, 1 spirit stone. Tier 1 10 spirit stones. Tier 2, rumored to be 100. If Lin Feng's thunder ability was as strong as he thought, he should at least qualify for Tier 2. 100 spirit stones would buy breathing room. After registering, he was led to a specialized testing area. This wasn't like the Awakening registration hall. This time, it was quiet. No crowd. No spectators. Just a plain test, because some people needed confidentiality. Soon, it was his turn. Lin Feng stepped inside. "Please keep striking the energy screen," the staff member told him. "All right." Lightning gathered in his hands. At first it was a faint crackle, then a steady surge. The intensity climbed higher and higher as Lin Feng pushed more power into it. Finally, he condensed it into a tight ball of lightning and slammed it forward. Boom! The energy screen flared, and the numbers on it shot upward. This screen displayed 2 readings, the raw energy intensity and the tier level calculated from that intensity. For energy-type evolvers, especially below Tier 6, control wasn't always precise. Testing was necessary. When Lin Feng stopped, the staff member's expression changed on the spot. Tier 3. Tier 3. The staff subconsciously checked his information card again. 18 years old. Tier 3 at 18. That was ridiculous. For a moment, even the staff looked stunned. Lin Feng glanced over. "Is it done?" Yes, the staff said quickly, attitude turning noticeably more respectful. Lin Feng stared at the result himself, still slightly surprised. It hadn't even been 2 full weeks since his awakening test. Outside time, a bit over 2 weeks. But inside his accelerated space, that was closer to 7 weeks of training. More than a month, nearly 2. Last time he'd tested as Tier 1. Now he'd jumped straight to Tier 3. And Tier 3 meant something even more important than reputation. It meant 500 spirit stones from the Alliance. Add the Tier 2 support as well, and Lin Feng could claim 600 spirit stones in total. 600. His shortage could finally be patched, at least for now. His mood lifted immediately. He left with his card and headed to the spirit stone collection counter. 600 stones still took time to count. Upstairs, on the second floor, inside a spacious office, a woman's voice cut through the air. What did you say? 18 years old, tier 3, and he hasn't joined any force yet. She sat on a sofa with her legs crossed, tall and striking, long hair spilling down like a waterfall. Yes, President, someone answered. Her eyes sharpened. A genius like this needs proper support. Give him that qualification. She stood up without hesitation. I'll go personally. Here you go. 600 spirit stones. Please count them. At the distribution counter, a staff member pushed a heavy pile toward Lin Feng. Each spirit stone was only about the size of a bar of soap, but 600 of them stacked together looked like a small hill. Lin Feng didn't bother counting one by one. He swept the entire pile into his portable space in one motion. With that done, he turned to leave. Please wait. A woman's voice stopped him from behind. Lin Feng looked back. A tall, stunning woman stood there in black stockings and high heels, her figure sharp and confident. Beside her was a uniformed staff member who looked much more serious than the people downstairs. Lin Feng, the woman in uniform, said, "Our president wants to speak with you." President? Lin Feng's eyes flicked back to the woman in black. So this was the president of the Sucheng branch of the Evolutionary Alliance. The woman stepped forward with an easy smile. Hello. I'm Lu Ru, president of the Sucheng branch. You can call me Sister Ru. Hello, Lin Feng replied, polite but cautious. Let's talk inside, Lu Ru said. Lin Feng didn't refuse. He also wanted to know what she was after. They moved into a small lounge. Lu Ru sat down opposite him and studied him for a moment, like she was confirming something in her head. Sucheng hasn't seen a genius like you in a long time, she said, the praise in her tone obvious. You're flattering me, Lin Feng answered calmly. Lu Ru leaned forward slightly. I have a trial qualification in my hands. I hadn't found the right person for it. But after seeing you today, I've decided to give it to you. A trial qualification? Lin Feng repeated. You know about spatial cracks, right? Lu Ru asked. Lin Feng nodded. After spiritual energy revived, the Earth itself had changed. The planet had been expanding, growing tougher, stronger. Some experts called it a psionic barrier. And with that expansion came distortions. Tears. Spatial cracks. Some were death traps. But some contained resources so valuable that major forces would fight over them. Spirit stones, rare materials, even ancient relics and inheritances. Many alien races had even built base camps inside certain cracks, using them as doors into Earth. Lu Ru continued, a new spatial crack was discovered between Sucheng and Xuanqing. The danger level inside isn't high, but it has a lot of good things. She spoke casually, but her eyes stayed sharp. Our people already cleared out the major threats. Now we're using it to test young geniuses from surrounding forces. She paused, then added the real point. This trial isn't meant to be suicidal. Whatever you find inside is yours. But there are still unknowns. Alien movement, sudden raids, unexpected creatures, things that don't follow common sense. Lu Ru watched him closely. We'll have strong people stationed outside to stabilize the situation. Interested? Lin Feng didn't hesitate. Yes. A chance like this was rare. Normally, you'd need to be part of a major force, or have high status, or wait until your strength was strong enough to force your way in. Danger? Of course. But humanity didn't survive by playing safe. They had clawed their way back from extinction by fighting for every bit of ground. And this wasn't a solo suicide mission either. Many evolvers would enter, and the Alliance and other forces would have experts guarding the area. They weren't sending people in just to die. Most importantly, spatial cracks meant one thing Lin Feng needed badly right now. Resources. If he could find spirit stones inside, his energy shortage would stop being a constant headache. With him, Zhou Tong, and Tao Yao, spirit stones weren't just useful anymore. They were basically food. And he still had a massive space upgrade requirement hanging over his head. Lu Ru's gaze softened, looking even more satisfied. She liked his decisiveness. No stalling, no overthinking, she said. Good. Then her tone turned practical. For this trial, you'll travel out of the city on your own and head to the Cracks location. This region is under our control, so you won't see large alien groups. But you still need to be careful. The alien-stalked beasts show up from time to time, she added. Understood, Lin Feng said. Luru reached into her clothes and took out something small. A blue object, crystal clear, but not quite a gem. It looked more like liquid pressed into a jewel shape, glowing faintly from within. She placed it on the table and pushed it toward him. Take this. If you run into something you absolutely can't handle, use it. A lifeline. If it came from the branch president, it wasn't going to be cheap or weak. Lin Feng accepted it without pretending. Thank you, President. Luru nodded. Good. Leave as soon as you can. All right. Lin Feng left the lounge and walked straight out. He didn't need to pack much. His portable space already held enough supplies to survive comfortably. That was the advantage of having storage no one could touch. Luru had already sent him the coordinates. The crack was about 100 kilometers from Sucheng. So Lin Feng caught a ride and headed out. Inside the city limits, roads were intact. Outside, the roads continued until a nearby town. But beyond that, there was no guarantee of anything. Routes were often destroyed or blocked by beasts released by alien forces. This was Lin Feng's first time leaving the safety of the city.
Hey everyone, Firescale Audiobooks here. If there's a novel you'd love to hear more of, you can support us on Patreon or Ko-fi. Depending on your tier, I'll make extra parts just for the stories you're most excited about. Usually I can only upload 4 to 5 parts of each novel, but with your support, we can go beyond that. And of course, don't forget to hit subscribe. It helps more than you know.
Little brother, you are so young. Are you going out of the city alone? In the car, the driver asked while driving. Lin Feng looked at the scenery outside the car and gave a faint It's not very peaceful outside the city recently. The beasts sown by the aliens have grown up again. The fierce beasts between Sucheng and Pinga Town have not been completely cleaned up. It is safer for us to go with the convoy. The driver pointed to the convoy in front and said, there were several buses in that convoy. You could see that on the top of the buses, there were several people with guns and a heavy machine gun. Hot weapons are basically useless in the face of powerful evolutionaries. But heavy firepower still has a certain effect when dealing with some less powerful beasts. It is good. Lin Feng agreed. After waiting for about half an hour, the bus in the convoy was full of people. These people are holding various weapons one by one, and they are basically middle-aged men. There are no evolutionaries in it. They all go to the outer defense line to participate in the garrison or build fortifications, do odd jobs, etc., and their income is much higher than in the city. The convoy started to set off, and the taxi that Lin Feng took also followed. After walking for a while, it turned into a gravel road, but the speed of the team was not slow, and they could run 50 or 60 yards per hour. At this time, at the rear, a convoy with a large number of armored vehicles caught up at a faster speed, and then overtook the convoy. It's the team of Jushin Group. The driver recognized the sign in the convoy road. Jushin Group, Lin Feng has heard of this name. A month ago, in the square, when tens of thousands of people in Sucheng just turned 18, when they got their own space, Jushin Group was there to recruit people. The convoy moved on. Along the way, there are many teams like Jushin Group. They are all powerful teams. It's all for the trial of space cracks. Lin Feng thought. His trial qualification was given by Luru. Some major forces also have some qualifications for trials. Strange, why are so many powerful convoys dispatched today? What happened outside? Taxi drivers are curious. Every city has a solid line of defense around it. The range of activities of many ordinary people throughout their lives is basically around the cities where they were born. Most, that is, between the city and the outer defense line. As long as you leave the city, even within the defense line, it is not necessarily absolutely safe for ordinary people. Outside the defense line, it is extremely dangerous for ordinary people. Although there is a carry-on space, after so many years, the aliens also have the means to target. For example, some aliens have specially improved and nurtured some new beasts in order to target the carry-on space of Earth people. These beasts are very good at finding the anchor point of the carry-on space. Even if the strength of these beasts is difficult to destroy the anchor, they can stay there and make you dare not go out. When stronger beasts or aliens come, you will cry without tears. Bang, bang, bang. Da-da-da. An hour later, gunshots sounded ahead. There are beasts. These damn aliens are spreading beasts everywhere. The taxi driver scolded. Although there is a solid line of defense, the aliens can still let some tiny beasts penetrate the line of defense through air or water. After these beast species fall within the defense line, they will hide in the dense forest and grow up. Usually, they can grow up in a few months and become a powerful beast. Among the tasks released by the Evolution Alliance and the City Lord's Mansion every day, there are tasks to clean up these beasts. Their strength is not too strong and their lifespan is short, usually a year or two at most. But these beasts are a great threat to ordinary people. The key is disgusting people, which brings some trouble to the defense of the city and the construction around the city. Lin Feng looked at it and saw more than a dozen beasts rushing towards the convoy. Heavy machine guns roared from the roof of the convoy ahead. However, the speed of the beasts is fast, and the number of hits is not many. After hitting, the number of bullets is small, and these beasts cannot be killed at once. The main reason is that the density of firepower is not enough. In those convoys, some passengers also took up guns and started to attack. There are also timid passengers who see that the situation is wrong and hide in the carry-on space. Little brother, let's hide in the space first. These beasts are not strong and can't find the anchor point. Let the evolutionaries deal with them. We can just hide for a while, suggested the taxi driver. Front. Seeing that the number of beasts is a bit large, it took a long time to kill a few, but the beasts were already approaching, and everyone disappeared on a bus. Then, the bus disappeared. These buses are no more than 10 meters in length, just to facilitate the income of the carry-on space. Soon, the second and third buses also disappeared. These guys. Hurry up. For ordinary people, once they find that they can't beat it, it is indeed the best way to hide in the portable space. Little brother, you advance the space, so I can put the taxi away. Seeing that the buses disappeared one by one, the taxi driver panicked and said quickly, if Lin Feng doesn't enter the space or get out of the car, he can't put away the taxi. No need. Lin Feng got out of the car. Exactly, let's try these beasts. Tong Tong. Lin Feng released Tong Tong. After the dozen or so beasts found that the bus disappeared, they all rushed towards the taxi. When the taxi driver saw this, he quickly put the taxi into his carry-on space. Just after receiving it, the dozen or so vicious beasts came. Little brother, hurry up and hide, shouted the taxi driver. He was about to enter the portable space when he saw a thunder light appearing on Lin Feng's hand. Thunderbolt. The terrifying thunder and lightning rushed out, and the fastest rushing beast was directly hit, and the fire went out with a hoot. Immediately afterwards, another lightning bolt rushed out, and this lightning bolt directly forked, killing several beasts in a row. After the thunder and lightning rushed out, a small black shadow flashed, and Tong Tong had already pounced on it, one with each paw. Those beasts that had just escaped a lot of heavy machine gun bullets were like crispy tofu in front of her. Evolver. The taxi driver's eyes widened. In a short time, more than 10 beasts were all eliminated. These beasts themselves are to disgust human beings, and their strength should be around the First Order Awakening, which is not strong. The threat to ordinary people is not small, but for Lin Feng and Tong Tong, there is no threat. Let's go. After eliminating the beast, Lin Feng hugged Tong Tong and said, oh, well, I didn't expect the little brother to be such a powerful evolutionary. I'm wrong. Let me handle these beasts' meat for you. Give you the market price. The driver sighed in relief. It is good. Lin Feng agreed. These beasts are not strong. A beast can be sold for 2,000 or 3,000 yuan, and it is very difficult to exchange spirit stones. However, Lin Feng just recorded a video. You can submit a task to the Evolution Alliance or the City Lord's Mansion to get contribution points. If you accumulate more contribution points, you can exchange for spirit stones. Taxis hit the road again. This time, The driver did not wait for those buses and drove all the way to Pinga Town. After knowing Lin Feng's strength, the driver's attitude became very warm. After half an hour, finally, Pinga Town arrived. This is the outermost town in Sioux City. There are a lot of people inside, and it even gives people a feeling that it is even more lively than Sucheng. Little brother, I will send you here. The driver said goodbye to Lin Feng. Lin Feng walked to the periphery of Pinga Town alone, came to the defense line, submitted his information card, and was able to go out. Once out of the line of defense, outside, the traces of human activities suddenly decreased. Lin Feng took out his phone and found the direction. This way. Lin Feng took a step and walked towards the position of the space crack alone. Thunderbolt. In the jungle, a thunderbolt killed a mutant bird. The wild is indeed dangerous for ordinary people. Some mutant animals themselves will attack humans. Not to mention the beasts kept by aliens. Lin Feng took Tong Tong all the way to the crack in the space. At this time, the sky has gradually darkened. Let's go after a night's rest. Lin Feng decided to take a night off. The trial will officially start tomorrow. Not in a hurry. He found a cave, killed a poisonous snake hidden in it, and entered the cave. Then, Lin Feng found a position and entered the space. Even in the wild, the aura concentration is not enough. Naturally, it is more comfortable and safer to be in your own space. Lin Feng took a shower with the hot water stored in the still area and fell asleep. When I woke up, it was only after 2 o'clock in the morning. Lin Feng will speed up the opening. Exactly, you can use up to 5 hours of space acceleration every day. These 5 hours, Lin Feng will find time to use every day, otherwise it would be a pity to waste. It's free anyway. It can give the plants in the space dozens of hours more growth time. Lin Feng and Tong Tong can also spend dozens of hours to become stronger. Fist intent. This time, Lin Feng trained dozens of hours of boxing in the gravity area. For those who practice martial arts, the role of true meaning is very important. Boxing intent is a very domineering and unparalleled true meaning. When the fist intent is practiced to a high level, a single punch can shatter a mountain for you. 30 hours later, Lin Feng stopped sweating profusely and directly shattered 20 spirit stones. So cool. Lin Feng felt very happy. He felt that his fist intent should have reached a new stage. After taking a shower, Lin Feng rested for a few hours before continuing to set off. There are beasts. This time, not long after departure, he encountered a beast. These beasts are considerably stronger than those in the line of defense. There are more than 30 in number. Tong Tong, kill them. Lin Feng said after observing for a while. Thunderbolt. A ball of lightning slammed into the 30 or so ferocious beasts and exploded. Immediately afterwards, Tong Tong rushed over and eliminated all the remaining beasts. After the solution, Lin Feng continued on the road. Along the way, I encountered several waves of beasts, but they were all resolved smoothly. The strength of these beasts is mostly above the first rank, and there are also many second rank. There are not many people who are too strong. There are many human cities in this area, and human beings are more powerful. There are also many evolutionaries who hunt and kill beasts in the wild. In this way, after a few hours, Lin Feng finally arrived outside the space crack. There, in the valley between 2 large mountains. When Lin Feng got there, he found that there were already a lot of people there, and there were still a lot of helicopters parked. A temporary defense line has also been constructed. There are many well-armed elite soldiers stationed. The guns in the hands of these soldiers are different from the guns in the hands of ordinary people. What they were holding was a psionic gun. Psionic guns, that is, psionic weapons, use spiritual stones as energy. Such weapons are much more powerful than ordinary thermal weapons. They are also evolutionaries themselves. However, it is not a particularly powerful evolutionary. However, through the psionic gun, they can effectively make up for their shortcomings, and with their number, after the number increases, there are still some difficulties. Please show your eligibility card. Lin Feng was stopped by several soldiers. Lin Feng took out the qualification card given by Lu Ru. Please come in. Several soldiers let go. Lin Feng walked in. After walking in, Lin Feng saw that there were many young evolutionaries inside. Lin Feng didn't know any of these people. It seems that they are all genius evolutionaries from surrounding cities, including some forces in Sioux City. All of them should have about the strength of Tier 3. But they're not very old, they all look like they're in their 20s. Compared with other evolutionaries, it is indeed a genius evolutionary. Lin Feng should be the youngest here. These people all knew each other, in groups of 3 or 5, gathered together and chatted there. Lin Feng came to the side silently and waited. One after another, people kept coming. After these people arrived, they all chatted with each other when they saw familiar people. No one noticed Lin Feng or noticed it and didn't pay too much attention after finding out that he didn't know him. Lin Feng. At this time, a voice sounded. Lin Feng took a look and felt that the woman in front of him was a little familiar. Don't know me? Sun Shirqiu. Women's introduction. Sun Shirqiu? Lin Feng thought about it. Isn't she a beast master? How come? Although her frost wolf strength is strong, the strength of that frost wolf should only be around the 2nd rank. In this way, Sun Shirqiu's own strength should not be bad. After all, he is a son of a big family. Even if his spatial talent is not good, there must be a very good personal space in the family, otherwise it will be difficult for a family to rise. Famous beasts, maybe just a sideline. Sun Shirqiu smiled. I didn't expect you to come too. How about you? Form a team with us? She pointed to a few girls next to her. Lin Feng glanced at the girls who were looking at him curiously and shook his head. No, I'm used to being alone. Okay then. Sun Shirqiu didn't force it either. Soon, it's 10 o'clock. It's time to enter the space rift. Thunderbolt. In the sky, a lightning flashed. Immediately afterwards, a middle-aged man stepping on thunder appeared in the air. Lin Feng looked at the man. There is no doubt that this is an extremely powerful thunder system evolutionary, and he can fly with thunder. The crack in space is about to open. What you can find in it depends on your fortune. Okay, let's go in. You have 3 days. The middle-aged man said solemnly. Then, in the valley ahead, the space seemed to be torn apart. Inside the torn hole, the scenery is completely different from the surrounding, as if there is a small world hidden inside. Those who came to the trial came in one after another. Sun Shirqiu glanced at Lin Feng from a distance and entered with a few sisters. Lin Feng also entered the space crack. As soon as he entered, Lin Feng felt that it was like a different world. What you can see is a large tract of woods. The aura concentration is much higher than outside. There should be spirit stones in here, Lin Feng thought. The evolutionaries who came in chose one direction to go. After thinking about it, Lin Feng released Tong Tong. Tong Tong, why is there a flower on your head? After it was released, Lin Feng found that Tong Tong was wearing a small peach flower on his head. It looks like there are some cute ones. Meow. Tong Tong meowed. Lin Feng understood. Maybe Tao gave it to her. Otherwise, she wouldn't pick peach blossoms to wear. At this time, Tong Tong's little nose sniffed, not knowing what to smell, and raised her paws to point in one direction. Huh? Tong Tong, do you want me to come here? Lin Feng asked. Meow. Tong Tong meowed again. It means yes. Did Tong Tong discover anything? Lin Feng decided to follow the direction pointed by Tong Tong. He had never been there before. Anyway, it was just a random touch, so why not try it? Let's go, Tong Tong. So, Lin Feng picked up Tong Tong and walked in the direction she pointed. There is more than one evolutionary person in this direction. However, after walking a distance, these evolutionaries scattered. A venomous snake attacked. Meow. However, before the poisonous snake approached, it was killed by Tong Tong's claws. At least a first-order level. Lin Feng whispered. In this space crack, the degree of danger is not small. A small poisonous snake has a first order. Meow. After Tong Tong killed the poisonous snake, he did not return to Lin Feng's arms, but led the way. Her sense of smell and hearing are quite acute. In this respect, Lin Feng is far inferior to her. You know, ordinary cats have 5 times more sense of smell, hearing, and vision at night than humans. However, Lin Feng's perception of the surrounding environment is not bad. He was also able to observe nearby movements through his mental power. Meow! Tong Tong pounced, killing a spider hiding behind a leaf. Mutant spider. Lin Feng looked at the spider the size of a wash basin. Insect-like mutant animals, once mutated, are also quite difficult to deal with. However, due to the deprivation of the spiritual energy of the Earth Star by the aliens, the number of mutant insects in the wild is much smaller. In this space crack, the concentration of spiritual energy is greater, and the number of mutated insects is quite large. Tong Tong continued to move forward with Lin Feng. After walking a bit, she raised her little claws and killed another mutant insect that was trying to sneak attack. Therefore, Lin Feng didn't take much action, and it was enough to follow Tong Tong all the way. I saw Tong Tong pounce occasionally raise its claws, unleashing an arc to kill blockers on the road. The progress of one person and one cat is not slow. After walking out like this for more than half an hour, the evolutionaries were basically scattered. Only the team is still together. It's still quite big here. Meow. After Tong Tong took Lin Feng through a dense forest, a cliff appeared in front of him. Under the cliff, there is a small pool. Meow. Tong Tong jumped back into Lin Feng's arms, called out softly, and pointed to the pool. Pool. Do not. This is not an ordinary pool, because the surrounding aura is too concentrated. The water in here is probably close to spiritual liquid. The concentration of spiritual energy in the spiritual liquid is very high. The aura thickened into substance and turned into liquid. Similar to spirit stone, but the advantage of spirit liquid is that it is easier to absorb, and maybe it has other functions. There is a lot of spiritual liquid in this pool. So much, just to release the spiritual energy inside, I am afraid it is equivalent to hundreds, or even thousands of spiritual energy in the spiritual stone. In this space crack, there really is something good. Moreover, Tong Tong could smell it from a distance. Could it be that her nose has also mutated? It's a cat treasure hunt. There should be big guys. Lin Feng whispered. After Tong Tong arrived here, his voice became quieter, and he did not step forward directly, indicating that there was danger around here. In this forest, there are not even mutant insects, which can explain the problem. Such a good thing. There is no mutant animal that does not like it. Even if the insect does not have intelligence, there is an evolutionary need in its genes, and it will come after smelling it. While observing, Lin Feng probed the surroundings with his mental power. Meow. Tong Tong pointed to the pool. Lin Feng understood what she meant, and she wanted to seduce the other party. No, Tong Tong, I don't know where the other party is. Lin Feng didn't want Tong Tong to take risks. However, Tong Tong had already jumped out. She jumped to the edge of the pool in a few seconds, posing to drink the water in the pool. At this time, suddenly, in the sand in front of the pool, a long tongue struck out faster than lightning. Good guy. Toad. This guy's tongue is too fast. For an ordinary toad, the acceleration of sticking out its tongue is 12 times the acceleration of gravity, which has exceeded the speed of sound. This guy is a mutant toad, and the speed of sticking out his tongue is so fast. Plus, this guy was hiding in the sand and launched a surprise attack. Even a mutant animal with a strength 1 or 2 orders higher than it, as long as it doesn't notice it, it may be successful in its sneak attack. Time is too short. Lin Feng also recognized the toad, and before he could worry about Tong Tong, he saw that Tong Tong's claws moved. The long tongue of the mutant toad was stepped on by Tong Tong's claws. An astonishingly powerful arc went up the toad's tongue. Good guy. Tong Tong's reaction speed is simply amazing. It even stepped on the toad's tongue. If this were Sun Shirchio's Frost Wolf, he would have already been recruited. Before even the ice armor could condense, it was hit by the tongue of the mutant toad, not to mention hitting a hole. It might even be highly poisonous. The toad's tongue turned black at a frantic speed, and then the arc entered the inside of the toad's body. This mutant toad, which is not weak, suddenly died. Its tongue is really strong, and it is estimated that except for Tong Tong, even if it is 2 or 3 steps higher, it is impossible to kill it in this way. But Tong Tong did it. Tong Tong's reaction is also invincible. As soon as Toad died, Lin Feng walked out and came to the pool. The pool is clear and bottomless. It looks like water, but it is spiritual fluid. Lin Feng was not polite and quickly put all the spiritual liquid in the pool into the portable space and put it into a container. The amount of spiritual liquid was a little more than Lin Feng had expected. There were more than a dozen cubes, which was at least equivalent to more than 1,000 spiritual stones. Good harvest. Lin Feng smiled. It's really good to have such a harvest as soon as you come in. After putting it away, Lin Feng was about to leave. Meow. But I saw Tong Tong pointing to the bottom of the pool that had already dried up. There is a layer of white mud. Tong Tong, are you saying this mud is also useful? Lin Feng asked. Meow. Tong Tong means this. Lin Feng grabbed a handful of mud and found that the mud was not ordinary mud. This is the authentic spiritual soil. No, it is more abundant than ordinary spiritual power. It can be put into the pond later. So, Lin Feng put away all the mud. After scraping the bottom of the entire small pool, I got several cubes of white mud. Hey, what is this? After finishing the white mud, Lin Feng saw another thing at the bottom of the white mud. Lin Feng pulled out the surrounding soil and found that it was a sword hilt. He grabbed the hilt, pulled it out, and pulled out a broken sword. Broken sword? As soon as the broken sword was pulled out by Lin Feng, a cold light flashed on the blade of the sword. Immediately afterwards, the scenery in front of Lin Feng's eyes changed. He seemed to be in the sky. Next second, a mighty, like 1,000-mile-long sword light slashed down. In the face of such a sword light, Lin Feng's mind was captured at once. In this sword light, there is a heart-pounding killing intent that makes Lin Feng seem to have lost the ability to move. There is a body out of control. The feeling of being unable to move. Sword intent. These two words appeared in Lin Feng's heart. Some martial arts practitioners start their own evolution, and the two most critical words are the true meaning. Before, what Lin Feng had mastered was fist intent. In this sword light, what is contained is sword intent. Moreover, it is an extremely terrifying sword intent. In the face of such sword intent, weak people like Lin Feng will be completely captured. Even if you shout 10,000 times in the bottom of your heart and want to escape, your body will be out of control. Lin Feng shouted, fist intent poured out. With the true meaning, against the true meaning. Although his fist intent is too weak compared to this sword intent. However, this kind of confrontation also allowed Lin Feng to successfully regain control over his body. He was about to dodge the sword light. Next second, where Lin Feng was, a sword light also rushed out. The two sword lights collided in an instant. Then I saw that the sword light that rushed out from behind was directly chopped to pieces by the terrifying sword intent of the sword light that rushed forward. Even the cold sword was cut off in one fell swoop. The sword light didn't stop, rushing all the way down. Lin Feng turned his head and saw that the sword light fell on a mountain, cutting the mountain into two halves at once. This power! Lin Feng was shocked by this power. He turned his head quickly, wanting to see the master who emitted the sword light. However, the distance is too far, and only a rather slender figure can be seen. Next second, all the sights vanished cleanly. The broken sword in Lin Feng's hand returned to normal. It looked like an ordinary broken sword. Illusion, Lin Feng whispered. The experience just now was just an illusion formed after touching the sword intent remaining on the broken sword. The opponent's strength was terrifyingly strong, so strong that it even cut off the broken sword in Lin Feng's hand. Sword intent still remained on broken sword. It didn't dissipate for a long time. As a result, when Lin Feng pulled out the sword from the soil, he touched the remaining sword intent on the sword. Then, the scene when broken sword was cut off was triggered. The master of broken sword should not be weak. Lin Feng thought. The hilt of this broken sword is somewhat different from a human sword, and it is most likely that of a foreigner. And the shot should be the strongest among human beings. The strength of this alien is probably not weak. After the broken sword was cut off, the aliens also seemed to be beheaded. The broken sword fell all the way, and I don't know how it fell into the space crack this time. The spiritual power remaining on the broken sword formed a spiritual fluid pool here. Then it happened to be discovered by Lin Feng and Tong Tong. A little bit of spiritual power remaining on a broken sword, the formation of a pool of spiritual liquid is equivalent to at least 1,000 spiritual stones. It also nourishes a lot of spiritual soil. The master of broken sword is definitely not weak. I don't know when this battle happened. Come to think of it, it shouldn't be recently, because this spiritual liquid pool seems to have been around for some time. Lin Feng put away the broken sword. Tong Tong, where are you going now? Lin Feng asked. Tong Tong jumped up a tree and sniffed. Lin Feng felt that she should be sniffing the flow of spiritual energy. Generally speaking, if there is no blockade, the aura will flow around from a slightly thicker place. This is the case without blocking. Under the circumstance that the concentration of aura around is not much different, most people would not notice this. But Tong Tong seems to be able to. Soon, Tong Tong jumped down. Meow. She points in the other direction. Let's go. Lin Feng walked there with Tong Tong. After more than an hour, Lin Feng and Tong Tong killed a lot of mutant insects and the like, and rushed there. Lingji. After arriving here, Lin Feng discovered that there was a spiritual plant here. This spiritual plant has not yet reached the fruiting period, but there are already many mutant insects beside it. These mutant insects are not weak, and the strongest one has reached the 3rd order. However, he still died under the cooperation of Lin Feng and Tong Tong. Lin Feng digs up the root of this spiritual plant. After poaching, Lin Feng looked at Tong Tong curiously. Tong Tong, how did you find it? He didn't expect that Tong Tong could even find Lingji now. Meow. Tong Tong pointed to the peach blossom on his head. There were many battles along the way, but the little peach blossom on Tong Tong's head was always there. Tong Tong, what do you mean, Taoyao told you? Lin Feng asked. Meow. Tong Tong answered yes. Is this little peach blossom a part of Taoyao? Unexpectedly, Taoyao has the ability to sense the location of spiritual plants among many plants. Come on, let's continue. Lin Feng said. Since you have such an ability, you should make good use of it and find more things while others haven't explored too much. So, Lin Feng and Tong Tong found it again. In the middle, I encountered some evolutionaries, but Lin Feng avoided them in advance. In this way, until the afternoon, Lin Feng's harvest was not bad. A total of 5 spiritual plants were found, all of which were stored in the portable space. Night falls. In this space crack, you can actually see the moonlight. Be careful. As night fell, the cracks in the space suddenly became lively. A large number of mutant insects that are active at night were dispatched. Some mutant mosquitoes rushed in groups and were killed by Lin Feng and Tong Tong. In the space crack, the level of danger at night seems to be even more dangerous than during the day. I don't know what else is dangerous. Forget it, sleep. Lin Feng didn't have the time to look for it anymore. Meow. Tong Tong also wanted to sleep. Today, her activity is not small. So, Lin Feng climbed up a tree and entered the personal space from here. The anchor point just falls on a leaf. Tong Tong, come, I'll give you a bath. After entering the portable space, Lin Feng released hot water from the static area and gave Tong Tong a bath. The area of the still area is actually not large and it is slender, but very high. The area of the ground is more than 100 square meters. The height is hundreds of meters. The space is so high, it is impossible for Lin Feng to not use the space in the high sky, right? Therefore, in this static area, there are a lot of frozen things. In case someone can't find the anchor point of the space and wants to wait for the rabbit, Lin Feng, relying on the materials in the space, insists on it for 10 or 8 years, which should be enough. One more thing. The higher the level of the carry-on space, the harder it is to find and destroy the anchor. However, it is still difficult to upgrade. Lin Feng is still far from 10,000 spiritual stones. If he finds a big power now and tells his talent in the space with him, let alone 10,000 spirit stones, he needs 100,000 spirit stones to upgrade, and that big power sells iron to Lin Feng. But then, Lin Feng is stupid. People will definitely control Lin Feng, and maybe they will do a good job on the surface, but secretly, they will definitely put Lin Feng under house arrest. Therefore, Lin Feng is not in a hurry. On my own, I don't grow very slowly. After taking a bath, Lin Feng planted all the 5 spiritual plants. Although the plants in the space themselves will mutate, it is not bad to have ready-made spiritual plants. These spiritual plants are also normal spiritual plants, and they did not produce the same changes as Taoao and Lotus. It seems that the changes of Taoao and Lotus are still influenced by the unprecedented portable space of Lin Feng. After taking a nap in the portable space, the time outside was still around 2 a.m. when I fell asleep. Lin Feng slept soundly. Taking advantage of the night outside, Lin Feng turned on the acceleration again. In this way, the 5 hours of acceleration has passed, just right, the sky is bright in the space crack, and you can explore again, and the 5 hours of acceleration time will not be wasted. After the acceleration was turned on, Lin Feng took out the broken sword. Before, when he touched the sword intent on broken sword, the terrifying sword intent brought a great sense of oppression to Lin Feng. Although the sense of oppression was strong, it gave Lin Feng some insight. It would be nice to keep this sword intent is too terrifying. Lin Feng thought. If this sword intent can be preserved, then Lin Feng can continue to experience this sword intent in the future, and even use this sword intent to train himself. In terms of true intent, Lin Feng's progress will probably be very fast. However, it is not easy to preserve such a sword intent. There is still sword intent on the broken sword, but it is estimated that after triggering it a few times, it will be gone. After thinking about it, Lin Feng opened the space panel to see if it could be achieved through space. He has so much space and talent that Lin Feng didn't even remember it. Looking at it, Lin Feng soon found out. He saw talent. Unremarkable talent. Solidified talent, a red 5-star talent. It can consume spirit stones to solidify the energy of some objects, so that they will not decay in space. This talent might be used to preserve the sword intent on this broken sword. So Lin Feng tried it. Success! As soon as he tried it, Lin Feng found that it was a success. Solidified talent, successfully solidified sword intent. It consumed a lot of spirit stones, 20 pieces. Although there are many spirit stones, it is worth it. This broken sword can enjoy the curing effect in space. Of course, it only enjoys solidification in the space. Once you take it out and trigger the sword intent a few times, it will be gone. Therefore, Lin Feng reassured and boldly triggered broken sword with energy. As soon as it was triggered, immediately, the scene in front of him changed again. The mighty sword intent, like a rainbow, struck again. Knowing that this was an illusion, Lin Feng did not avoid it, but silently felt the sword intent. This sword intent is too strong. It is also very domineering, and there is a feeling that the edge must be exposed. The sword light resurfaced, and the owner of Broken Sword also launched an attack. Then, the 2 sword lights collided, and the sword intent of the owner of Broken Sword was chopped to pieces. The sword light rushed downwards, cutting a mountain in half. And then, the illusion disappears. The entire illusion didn't last long. From the appearance of the sword light to the moment when the mountain was cut off, it only took a few seconds. After using the solidification talent of space to solidify, Lin Feng can always stimulate the sword intent remaining on the broken sword. Tong Tong, give you the spirit liquid. Lin Feng took out some spiritual liquid and gave it to Tong Tong. The effect of spiritual liquid is better. You can drink it directly. Of course, when the strength is not strong, you can't drink too much. Meow. Tong Tong took a sip. After Lin Feng also took a sip, his sword intent was aroused again, and he felt silently. Boxing is also true. Every time, when entering the illusion, Lin Feng's fist intent feels like he is just about to move under the threat of that sword intent. Although his fist intent was compared to this sword intent, it was like the difference between a firefly and a bright moon. However, the same is true meaning. If the boxing meaning is practiced to a high level, it will not lag behind the sword meaning too much. Now that the sword intent is suppressed, the fist intent is naturally stimulated. In this way, in the space, Lin Feng felt it over and over again after solidifying the sword intent through the solidified talent of the space. If there is no solidification of the sword intent on the broken sword will disappear a few times at most, but now, Lin Feng can feel how he wants to feel. He felt it silently, over and over again. Unconsciously, the epiphany was triggered again. An epiphany requires total dedication. One thing is, if you consciously think about the epiphany, it is very difficult to trigger it. When you devote yourself to it, you forget about it, and it is easy to trigger it. In this way, time in the space passes quickly. Beside him, Tong Tong didn't make a noise after finding out that Lin Feng had entered an epiphany state, such as the release of thunder and the like. But after digesting the spiritual liquid, he jumped to the peach tree again, and after playing with Taoao for some time there, Tong Tong came to the small pond and helped Lin Feng look at the lotus flowers. Finally, Tong Tong went to see the situation of other plants. After patrolling around like this, Tong Tong slowly came to Lin Feng not far away, took another sip of spiritual liquid, and then took a nap there. After an unknown amount of time, Lin Feng finally withdrew from the epiphany state. Looking at the time, more than 30 hours have passed in the space. For more than 30 hours, Lin Feng has been comprehending the sword intent on broken sword. He closed his eyes because Lin Feng had gained a lot in these 30-odd hours. After sorting out the gains in his head one by one, Lin Feng has something in his heart. This should be. Lin Feng used his finger as a sword and slashed forward. There is no such thing as a sword light. But a stone in front of Lin Feng quietly broke into two halves. Sword intent. Done. And this sword intent has a higher starting point than Lin Feng's fist intent. Much higher. After all, Lin Feng's boxing skills are based on very basic boxing techniques and need to be practiced from scratch. The sword intent is different. Lin Feng was inspired by constantly feeling the strong sword intent on broken sword. In the past 30 or so hours, Lin Feng has realized that terrifying sword intent has reached tens of thousands of times. For those who do not have the true meaning, the sword intent is too fierce, and even if you keep comprehending it, you may not gain anything. It's like a person who has not graduated from primary school. If you tell him the knowledge of manufacturing aerospace rockets 100 million times, he will not be able to understand, let alone gain anything. Because that was completely beyond his comprehension. But Lin Feng is different. He has his own true meaning, and with the epiphany state, there are other bonuses of space. Lin Feng's insights have gained so much. Meow. Beside, Tong Tong's voice sounded. This time, in Tong Tong's meow, Lin Feng also heard a little adoration. Huh? Tong Tong's voice can express more emotions. Lin Feng turned around and saw Tong Tong wearing a peach blossom sitting there, looking at him cutely. Meow. Seeing Lin Feng, Tong Tong made another meow. Lin Feng touched her little head. After eating something in the space, Lin Feng consolidated and practiced his sword intent for some time. Then, he rested for a while, and the acceleration of the space was over. Outside, it was still more than 7 in the morning. The sky is bright. Let's go. Lin Feng picked up Tong Tong and left the portable space. When I came out, it was still on the tree. Today is the second day of entering the space crack. Yesterday's harvest was not small. The broken sword is the biggest gain. Let's see if we can find the spirit stone today. Tong Tong ran to the top of the tree, her nose moved, and there she felt the flow of spiritual energy. Meow. Tong Tong pointed in one direction and seemed to have discovered something again. Still the same as yesterday. Tong Tong leads the way. Lin Feng followed behind her. In this way, go all the way in the direction of Tong Tong's finger. Meow. When passing through a forest, Tong Tong noticed something and swooped in one direction. There, a blood-red vine swept over. Tong Tong's claws moved, and the thunder light shot out, scorching the blood-red vine to black. Immediately afterwards, Tong Tong chased after the blood vine. Lin Feng also followed, and saw that in the dense forest, a blood-colored vine was winding around a tree, and the tree had been sucked dry by it. This blood vine is still spreading around. As long as the plants it touches, they are quickly withering. Blood vine. Lin Feng's face changed slightly. The reason is simple. This blood vine is also a beast of an alien race. Moreover, this blood vine is extremely domineering. Unlike animal-like beasts, after they are scattered, they will frantically suck the vitality around them to strengthen themselves. In a short period of time, they can become very powerful. The appearance of blood vines means one thing. The aliens discovered this space crack and penetrated the blood vines. Thunderbolt. Lightning flashed. The blood vine that was spreading around was quickly extinguished by the arc attack of Lin Feng and Tong Tong. Completely lost life. This blood vine is still growing, and it is not a threat to Lin Feng and Tong Tong. Lin Feng came to the blood vine that had turned gray, and after a careful inspection, confirmed that it should be the blood vine of an alien. There are more than one kind of aliens invading. Different aliens have different means. This blood vine was cultivated by an alien named Tian Ting Clan. Will there be aliens? Lin Feng thought. After thinking about it, Lin Feng felt that the possibility of aliens coming in was not high. Judging from Lu Ru's original words, the major forces should have taken precautions against aliens in this trial. It was also expected that there might be interference from aliens. This area is where humans are more powerful. Aliens are all sneaky actions. Then, aliens should not enter this space crack. Even if they entered, there should not be two strong aliens. Although they didn't enter, these aliens still brought the beasts in by some means. Moreover, it is the blood vine that grows rapidly. After the common beast seed is sown, it will take several months to lurch and grow. It doesn't take so long for blood vines, this thing is too destructive. As long as there is organic absorption, they can grow wildly. Of course, there is a price. The blood vine has a shorter lifespan. Unless there is infinite vitality for it to absorb, its vitality is passing away every moment. The average blood vine has a lifespan of a few days to a month at most. The longest-lived one is less than 2 months. The more powerful this thing is, the greater the demand for vitality. Although the lifespan is short, this blood vine is also very difficult to entangle. The purpose of aliens cultivating hemorrhagic vines is to destroy some space cracks occupied by humans. In addition, there are fights among the aliens. This blood vine is the weapon used by the Tianting tribe to attack and destroy the cracks in space. If you don't notice it, the blood vine will grow up, and it will be very difficult to deal with. All the good things in the space crack will be sucked for you. Go, Tong Tong, we have to speed up. Lin Feng said. Meow. Tong Tong understands. The appearance of blood vines means more variables. Lin Feng was not afraid of anything. Just worried that it is slow. Some good things are destroyed by blood vines. As for aliens, there should be no need to worry too much. There are so many forces participating in the trial this time, and there are many strong people. These strong people are not decorations, and it is impossible not to expect such a situation. The strong are not fools. If it is a fool, there is no way for humans to rise in desperation and counterattack. Lin Feng and Tong Tong quickened their pace. Soon, another spirit plant was found. Lin Feng quickly transplanted it into the space and continued on the road with Tong Tong. There are blood vines. Kill it. It didn't take long for Lin Feng to hear the sound of fighting coming from the front. And blood vines. When he approached the area, he saw that several evolutionaries were attacking a blood vine. This blood vine has more vitality, but its strength has not yet risen, and a few evolutionary attacks will destroy it in one round. Let's go. After Lin Feng watched the battle from a distance, he did not meet these evolutionaries, and left here with Tong Tong. These evolutionaries are also not stupid, and their strength is okay. After all, they are all geniuses in the major forces. Stupid people will not have such a growth rate. Meow. More than an hour later, Tong Tong brought Lin Feng to the foot of a cliff. What's here, Tong Tong? Lin Feng looked at the cliff. There seemed to be nothing here. Meow. Tong Tong was lying on the ground, sniffing. After sniffing for a while, Tong Tong shook his head and pointed in another direction. Not here? Lin Feng and Tong Tong hit the road again. After more than 2 hours, Lin Feng and Tong Tong came to the edge of a cliff after encountering a blood vine that had reached the second rank. Meow. Tong Tong continued to sniff. After sniffing for a while, Tong Tong ran towards the cliff. Meow. Tong Tong pointed to the bottom of the cliff. Tong Tong, you mean, is there something down there? Lin Feng asked. Meow. Tong Tong said yes. Lin Feng came to the cliff. The cliff was more than 100 meters high, and there were dense forests below. The spiritual energy in this area is very sufficient. What's under this? Check it out. After thinking about it, Lin Feng took out a wooden board. Come on, Tong Tong. He picked up Tong Tong, threw the board down, and stepped on it while holding Tong Tong. The planks fell with their speed. The speed of the fall is constantly slowing down. Lin Feng is controlling this wooden board with his spiritual power. His current mental strength is already very strong. Of course, it is still a bit difficult to control objects with mental power and fly with oneself. But slowing down like this can still be done. When approaching the bottom, Lin Feng and Tong Tong jumped down. Meow. Tong Tong shot out a thunder light, and there a huge black snake was forced back by Tong Tong's thunder light. Lin Feng saw that this black snake was not small. Its head was thicker than a child's body. Its snake head also looks terrifying, giving it a grim look. After being hit by Tong Tong's thunder light, this black snake had nothing to do, but took it down. The strength of this black snake is probably not weak. After the black snake retreated, it rushed forward again. Meow. Tong Tong got angry and rushed up actively, dodging the attack of the black snake head and jumping onto its snake body. A small paw grabs. Immediately, the black snake's scales were scratched by it. The black snake's tail swept sharply, forcing Tong Tong away. But Tong Tong immediately jumped over again. Not long after, the black snake was covered in scars. This black snake, I am afraid it is close to the fourth order. Lin Feng thought. The strength of this black snake is not weak. It's just that, for a little guy like Tong Tong, the black snake seems too cumbersome. What? At this time, Lin Feng saw something new. Not far from Tong Tong and Black Snake, there is an animal. It was a little fox with white fur. However, at this time, the little fox was seriously injured and lay there dying. It looks like he was injured by this black snake. Fox corpse. In another place, Lin Feng also saw some fox corpses. Looking at it this way, it should be this black snake that attacked the place where the foxes lived and killed the foxes. Because Lin Feng and Tong Tong just came down, the little fox was able to save his life. Thunderbolt. Lin Feng also joined the fight against the black snake. The scales of this black snake are so strong. Soon, Lin Feng discovered that the ark's attack was of little use to this black snake. You must know that before Lin Feng entered the space crack, the attack intensity of the ark had already reached the 3rd level during the test. Although it has only been 3 days since the day of the test, counting the acceleration time in the portable space, it is already equivalent to about 9 days. Lin Feng's strength is stronger than before. However, his arc, there is no good way to take this black snake. The scales of this black snake can hold the arc. This black snake, I am afraid that it is a fourth-order energy system evolutionary, and it can't deal with it. Lin Feng thought. The snake scales of this black snake should have a very good protective effect against the attack of the energy system. This black snake is very likely to be infinitely close to the fourth order. Lin Feng's arc was not without harm, but this guy took it hard. It is extremely difficult to kill it with an arc. On the contrary, it was Tong Tong. Her little claws kept moving. Her claws were extremely sharp, and they contained that kind of strange energy. Under Tong Tong's attack, the black snake's body was already covered with scars. Good chance. Lin Feng finally found an opportunity, and an arc broke out. There, the scale of the snake was broken by Tong Tong and opened a big mouth. The electric arc hit the big mouth at once, and the meat under the snake's scales was instantly charred black. The black snake screamed in pain and frantically attacked Tong Tong. While dodging, Tong Tong kept rushing towards it, and the little claws left wounds on the black snake's body. Lin Feng sends out an arc from time to time. In this way, after less than 10 minutes of fighting, this black snake, who was stronger than the current Lin Feng and Tong Tong, was killed like this. Boom! The black snake fell to the ground. Meow! Tong Tong pointed to the black snake. Lin Feng understood what she meant. This snake-changing black snake is not weak. I am afraid it has reached the fourth order. The snake body can be exchanged for a lot of spirit stones. So, Lin Feng put the body of the black snake into the static area and sold it when he returned to the city. After taking it in, Lin Feng walked towards the snow-white little fox. The little fox was seriously injured and even lost the ability to move. Seeing Lin Feng coming over, the little fox showed a panic and timid expression. Meow! Tong Tong jumped in front of the little fox and sniffed the little fox. Then, Tong Tong turned his head again and gave Lin Feng a meow. Lin Feng understood the sound of meow. Tong Tong means, can you not kill the little fox? It is good. Lin Feng agreed to Tong Tong. Meow. Tong Tong gave a meow to the little fox. Perhaps because he understood what Tong Tong meant, the panic on the little fox's face subsided a lot. Don't be afraid, I will heal you. Lin Feng took out some healing utensils and picked up the little fox. The little fox's face was a little nervous, but he couldn't resist. Lin Feng first cleaned the wound on the little fox's body with saline, and then bandaged it. It took about half an hour for Lin Feng to completely heal the wound on the little fox. Meow! Tong Tong said meow to Lin Feng again. She seemed to like this little fox a little. This little fox, with snow-white fur, is a female fox. Space should be able to contract a second contract beast, right? Lin Feng thought. If you can contract a second contract beast, contracting this little fox, naturally, there is no problem. The premise of the contract is that the contracted beast must recognize the Space Master. If it is hostile to the Space Master, it will definitely not be able to contract. He healed the little fox in Lin Feng, and with the Tong Tong factor, the little fox now looked at Lin Feng and was completely free from fear. You can also see a hint of gratitude. Okay, Tong Tong, let's take her in. Lin Feng said to Tong Tong. Meow. Tong Tong was very happy. She looked around again. However, after searching for a long time, Tong Tong was confused again. Seems like I'm in the wrong place again? At this time, the little fox stretched out its front paws and pointed in one direction. Meow. Tong Tong walked there suspiciously. But there is nothing there. Lin Feng hugged the little fox and walked over. Soon, Lin Feng found out. There is a large amount of hemp grass, and the smell of this grass can affect the sense of smell. The little fox pointed to the back of the mimea. Lin Feng crouched down and found a stone there. He took out the stone, and there was a small hole less than 20 centimeters in diameter. Immediately, a strong spiritual energy rushed out. This spiritual energy, so strong. Lin Feng couldn't help but wonder. Meow. Tong Tong got out. A few minutes later, Tong Tong got out again, holding a spiritual stone in his mouth. Ling Shi. There are spirit stones below. Lin Feng understands a bit why the fox here was killed by the black snake. They must have discovered the spirit stone here and then occupied it, but they were found by the black snake, and the strength of the black snake was stronger. These foxes were killed by black snakes like this. Meow. Tong Tong continued to drill. A few minutes later, Tong Tong came out with another spirit stone in his mouth. All right. I don't know how many spirit stones there are below. How long will Tong Tong hold it like this? Have to dig up here. Lin Feng whispered. This is a mountain, and there is only a small hole to go down. This small hole may have been dug by these foxes for an unknown amount of time. Lin Feng can't get in. It's just, how easy is it to dig out? Use sword intent. Soon, Lin Feng had a solution. He decided to try it with sword intent, which was just the right time to practice. So, Lin Feng started to try. Instead of using the broken sword, he used his finger as a sword and kept trying. At the beginning, the effect is also average. After successful casting, it can also cut into the mountain. But as Lin Feng continued, the rocks of the mountain began to be cut off by Lin Feng. Not particularly fast, but not slow either. Lin Feng wasn't going to go anywhere else, so he wasted up here, constantly cutting rocks with sword intent. From morning to noon to afternoon. Finally, Lin Feng cut a hole deep enough for him to pass through. Lin Feng got in and continued to cut with sword intent. In this process, Jianni is also constantly improving. Of course, the consumption of Lin Feng is not small. The fallen rocks Lin Feng put directly into the space do not need to be transported out. In this way, Lin Feng cut all the way with the small holes dug out by the foxes. Go in at first, then down. Cut for a few more hours. Finally, here we are. Here, there is already a considerable area off the ground. Lin Feng was also too tired. Can't stand it anymore. However, Lin Feng immediately became happy when he saw it. Because there are too many spirit stones. These spirit stones gathered here, forming a small spirit stone mine. Get rich. Lin Feng looked at these spirit stones, his eyes glowed. Lin Feng didn't waste time, started cutting the spirit stone with sword intent, and then put it away. The spirit stones are cut piece by piece. Like a natural spirit stone mine, the spirit stones in it are a whole. The spirit stone that Tong Tong took out before was also divided by her own claws. Lin Feng cut these spirit stones with sword intent and put them into the space. Efficiency is still fast. After cutting, Lin Feng extended to both sides. It took more than an hour for Lin Feng to move all the spirit stones in the spirit stone mine into the portable space. There are no spiritual stones around, only ordinary rocks. Seeing that there were no more spiritual stones, Lin Feng got out. After briefly sealing the passage he cut out, Lin Feng left here with the little fox in his arms. At this time, it was past 3 o'clock in the morning. After Lin Feng left there for a few kilometers, he stopped walking, found a relatively safe place, and entered the portable space directly. I'm so tired. Lin Feng was exhausted. In his arms, the little fox looked left and right curiously. Tong Tong, do you ask her if she is willing to contract with me? Lin Feng resisted the thought of falling asleep and said to Tong Tong. Meow, Tong Tong said to the little fox. The little fox looked at Tong Tong, then at Lin Feng and nodded. She would. That's okay. Lin Feng opened the space panel and found that he could contract the second contract beast. Although the space is still a level 1 space, but his strength has risen, he can contract the second contract beast. So, Lin Feng took a little blood from the little fox's wound to form a contract. Eat it. Lin Feng handed the contract to the little fox. The little fox ate the contract directly. The contract is successful. In this way, there is one more member in Lin Feng's space. After contracting the little fox, Lin Feng gave the little fox to Tong Tong to take. He was really tired. However, Lin Feng held back his drowsiness and counted the spirit stones. He opened the space panel. It was found that, to upgrade to level 2 space, the required spirit stones are enough. This shows that the harvest of spiritual stones this time has greatly exceeded 10,000. Upgrade first. Lin Feng decided to upgrade first. There are a lot of spirit stones here, and after the upgrade, there should be some leftovers. Linkshare is really important. But carrying space is the key. The main reason why Lin Feng and Tong Tong can grow so fast is because of this god-level space. In that case, upgrade your portable space first. Lin Feng directly chose to upgrade. A large number of spirit stones disappeared. Lin Feng looked at it, and almost 3/4 of it disappeared. There should be more than 2,000 remaining spiritual stones after cutting. Enough to use Lin Feng for a while. This time the harvest is really big. The way to rescue the little fox is also correct. Otherwise, without the little fox to guide the way, Lin Feng and Tong Tong might not be able to find the spiritual stone mine below. Lin Feng was not in a hurry to count the remaining spirit stones. Because the space is being upgraded. Space is getting bigger. Originally, the plane area of the space was 100 meters * 100 meters. That is 10,000 square meters. Now, the space is still rapidly expanding to both sides. Height is also increasing. Meow. Tong Tong is very curious. After a few minutes, the change stopped. Lin Feng opened the space panel and looked. Space Master, Lin Feng. Space Talent, Acceleration, Golden 5 stars, Beast Mastery, Golden 5 stars, Planting, Orange 5 stars, Gravity, Orange 5 stars, Thunder Affinity, Red 5 stars, Fire Affinity, Red 5 stars, Mutation, Orange 5 stars, Area, White 5 stars, Evolution, Golden 5 stars, 200-fold Evolution, Epiphany, Golden 5 stars. New Talent, Comprehension, Golden 5 stars. Space Area, 80,000 square meters. Space Level, 2. Space Log, Viewable. The panel of the space has undergone some changes. Lin Feng looked at the most commonly used acceleration talent. Space Talent, Acceleration, Golden 5 stars. Description: Startup acceleration, which can make the time flow rate of the space 20 times that of the outside world, and can be started for free for 5 hours a day. Acceleration talent has been enhanced. The previous time flow rate is 10 times. But after rising to level 2 space, it becomes 20 times. The hours of free startup each day are still the same. The change is the magnification. If the free startup time is exceeded, you will need to consume spirit stones, which are a bit large. Free 5 hours, 20 times, which means that these 5 hours can be turned into 100 hours. Counting the other 19 hours, even if you only use the free 5 hours a day, the space can be extended to 119 hours in the outside world. Just 1 hour away, that's 5 days. The acceleration effect of space is stronger. Take it as it is, if Lin Feng's spirit stones are too many to be used up in the future, it will be even more buggy if the acceleration is turned on for a longer time. In addition to accelerating talent changes, other talent changes are also great. For example, the gravity talent, the adjustable gravity ratio has increased. The evolutionary talent has become a 200-fold evolution. Mutation talent, the chance has increased, and the effect has also increased. There is also the Epiphany talent, which used to be a 15% chance to enter the Epiphany state, and now has an 18% chance. The increase in this probability is not particularly large, and this talent itself is very buggy. Some other talents, more or less, have been enhanced. The area talent has also changed, becoming 200 times the area of ordinary space. When the portable space is upgraded to level 2, the side length will be doubled. The area of the ordinary portable space is 400 square meters. After being increased by the area talent, Lin Feng's current floor area has reached 80,000 square meters. Lin Feng's original planting area was located in the middle, and the surroundings looked empty. Such a large area. You can plan better. More can be accommodated. Lin Feng can also plan dedicated training areas. You can also create more abundant terrain, such as small hills and small lakes. You can also make a special lotus pond. In short, after this wave of space upgrades, Lin Feng's space has been fully enhanced. One more talent. At this time, Lin Feng found out that after the upgrade, there was one more talent in space. Comprehension talent. It is also a golden 5-star talent. Lin Feng opened the description of this talent. Space talent, comprehension, golden 5 stars. If you practice in space, your understanding will be temporarily improved, and if you practice in space for a long time, your understanding will be slightly improved permanently. This talent is not bad. Cultivation in space can also temporarily improve understanding. Moreover, if you practice in space for a long time, you can also permanently improve a little understanding. Although there is an epiphany talent, there are some differences between the epiphany of a fool and the epiphany of a person with high comprehension. Space upgrade, can you also increase talent? Lin Feng had never heard of it before. Everyone's portable space can be upgraded. But talent is fixed from the beginning. No matter what color talent, the star rating will not change, let alone increase the talent. For example, one person's space is the acceleration talent of the second star. Acceleration talent, 1 star is 2 times acceleration, 2 stars is 4 times acceleration, Lin Feng's 5 stars is 10 times. Then, when that person's space is at level 1, the length and width of the space are 10 meters, and the space area is 100 square meters, which can be accelerated by 4 times. After rising to level 2, the space change of that person is that the length and width of the space will become 20 meters, the space area will become 400 square meters, and the acceleration will become 8 times. That's all. There will be no other changes. Lin Feng's space has not only changed greatly after the upgrade, but also has an additional talent. Moreover, this talent seems to have never appeared before. Looking at it this way, the particularity of Lin Feng's space is truly unprecedented. After reading the changes in the space, Lin Feng turned on the acceleration function of the space, then fell asleep. When he woke up, more than 10 hours had passed in the space. I slept a long time this night. However, when I woke up, I was refreshed. Due to the change in the acceleration talent, there are still more than 80 hours before the end of the acceleration. 3 days. Lin Feng took a look at the little fox. The little fox's injuries are recovering. Lin Feng's space is a full talent space, and there is also a recovery talent. Accelerates recovery from injury and strength. This talent can turn the space into a space for healing and recuperation. People who have the space of recovery talent are also very popular among the major forces because they can be used as nurses. The little fox naturally also enjoyed the restoration talent of space. Come on, here it is. Lin Feng fed the little fox some spiritual fluid. The little fox timidly drank the spiritual liquid with gratitude in his eyes. Lin Feng touched her little head, and after reassuring her, he went to take a look around. The space is getting too big now. Both the length and width have nearly tripled. From the original 100 meters to the current 283 meters. The area has been increased by 8 times. There is no time to plan now. I'll talk later when I go back. Make a good plan when you go back. Lin Feng thought. There are still more than 80 hours to accelerate the talent. Lin Feng is ready to take advantage. Exactly, try the effect of the upgraded space. He drank some spiritual liquid again, and then smashed a large number of spiritual stones, so that the spiritual energy of the space was completely enriched. The space has become bigger. The area varies greatly. The change in volume is bigger. The area of space refers to the plane area, that is, the area of the bottom. Height is counted separately. The height of Lin Feng's space was more than 300 meters before. Now the height has increased further, and it is already close to the height of a kilometer. In such a high space, it is really impossible to fill the spiritual energy with less spiritual stones. Lin Feng also did not cut those spirit stones and directly smashed almost 100 spirit stones. Then, Lin Feng came to the gravity area and continued to feel the sword intent. This insight, not long after, entered the state of epiphany again. When Lin Feng withdrew from the state of epiphany, he felt that the sword intent had improved again. Even faintly, it may surpass his strongest thunder force. Such changes are normal. After all, he can comprehend the sword intent of a supreme power countless times. How rare is such an opportunity? A feeling at least tens of thousands of times. Even if you have such a teacher, it is impossible for the other party to show you tens of thousands of sword intents to make you realize. Lin Feng also has the bonus of epiphany and various bonuses of space. In the space, there is also a implication talent, which is a talent in the form of light affinity and fire affinity. It is a talent that adds to the true meaning. A space with implicational talent is also a space suitable for opening one's own evolution through martial arts. Continue to comprehend and see if you can go further. Seeing that the harvest was so great, Lin Feng continued to realize it. However, the epiphany state is not triggered every time. Without the epiphany state bonus, the effect will be much weaker. Lin Feng didn't care either. If you are tired, go to rest for a while. Then continue. When the acceleration time ran out, Lin Feng stood up and a sword light flashed in his eyes. Meow. In the past 100 hours, Tongtong's feelings for Lin Feng have changed a lot. Lin Feng didn't save the few prescriptions of spiritual liquid. It can be said that the supply was open to Tongtong. Anyway, Tongtong found it. Tongtong's strength is stronger, and it is also a big help for Lin Feng. It can also give Lin Feng feedback power. Looking at the time, outside, it is already 8 o'clock. The sky is already bright. Today is the 3rd day. Also the last day. Lin Feng took Tongtong out of the space. As for the little fox, it was placed in space to recuperate. The little fox has already made a contract, and her character is also a docile type. If Lin Feng does not give it, she will never take it indiscriminately. Don't worry. As soon as he left the portable space, Lin Feng's cell phone rang. When Lin Feng saw it, it was a message. The publisher of this information was an account added by Lin Feng when he entered. Cleaning the blood vines in the cracks of space, with the heart of blood vines, you can get different points. 1 point can be exchanged for 100 contribution points, and the person with the most points can get additional rewards. Clean up the blood vines? Lin Feng had killed several blood vines before, but he did not go to get the heart of the blood vines. It's a waste. Meow. At this time, Tongtong jumped up violently, and with the movement of his claws, he destroyed a blood-red vine. She jumped up again, rushed in the direction of the blood vine, and killed a blood vine there. Lin Feng also jumped to the top of the tree. Looking at it, he found that the number of blood vines seemed to have increased. Are there so many blood vines? Lin Feng didn't expect that after one night, the number of blood vines in the space cracks was several times higher than before. Then clean up. Lin Feng received the blood vine heart of the blood vine that Tong Tong killed. Tong Tong, look for the blood vine. Lin Feng said to Tong Tong. The gains of the first 2 days were not small. This time, there are still very few evolutionaries who have entered the space crack. So many evolutionaries have been looking for 2 days, and there should be not many good things in the space crack. Therefore, today Lin Feng is going to mainly look for blood vines. Just to get some contribution points, go to the Evolutionary Alliance to buy spiritual soil. To buy things in the Evolutionary Alliance, it is not enough to have money, you must contribute points. Lin Feng did not join the forces, so it was difficult to buy from other forces, so he could only find a way from the Evolutionary Alliance. Meow. Tong Tong sniffed the blood vine and remembered the smell of the blood vine. Then, she took Lin Feng to find the blood vine. With Tong Tong, a cat treasure hunter, the efficiency is still very high. Lin Feng's body is already quite strong, and the speed of walking through the dense forest is also fast. In just over an hour, there were 7 or 8 blood vines killed by Lin Feng. These aliens, the number of beasts sown this time, is quite large. Fortunately, not long. Unless these blood vines have encountered Lingji or simply encountered Lingsher mine, there is no way for them to grow to a strong strength within a day or 2. However, I still encountered a blood vine, and its strength has reached the 3rd rank. In this way, after Lin Feng cleaned up for some time, more than 10 blood vines were killed by Lin Feng. In the middle, I also encountered several waves of evolutionary people. These evolutionary people are also looking for blood vines and other treasures. By noon, there were 15 blood vines that Lin Feng had killed. In the middle, I met Lingji again. It was transplanted into the space by Lin Feng. Meow. At this time, Tong Tong smelled the breath of a blood vine again. When Lin Feng and Tong Tong arrived, they found that there were already 2 waves of evolutionists there. These evolutionaries are fighting the blood vine. The area occupied by that blood vine is already very large. Those blood vines are several hundred meters long. A large number of blood red vines are constantly swept, attacking those evolutionaries. This blood vine is so powerful, let's attack together. Be careful, this blood vine is probably already 4th order. Those evolutionaries attacked from afar. Blood vines still have some flaws, for example, they have a certain attack range and cannot move. But as long as you can't stop it, it can continue to extend around, constantly absorbing the surrounding vitality to grow itself, forcing you to go up and stop it. Moreover, their fighting intelligence is also not bad. The strength of this blood vine is quite powerful, and the blood-colored vine has blocked the attacks of the evolutionary people and also launched counterattacks from time to time. Let's go, Tong Tong. Lin Feng walked over with Tong Tong in his arms. After walking over, Lin Feng saw an acquaintance. Sun Shirchio. She is attacking with the group's little sisters. There are also 3 evolutionaries who are besieging this blood vine together, and there are a total of more than a dozen evolutionaries. Their attack methods are somewhat different. Most of them are evolutionary of the energy system. Some use thunder, some use fire, and some use the power of ice to attack. There are also evolutionaries holding a large shield to block attacks for other evolutionaries. This person should be a power-type evolutionary. These evolutionaries are geniuses of various forces, and there must be some life-saving things in their hands. However, it is very uneconomical to use life-saving things on a 4th-order blood vine. So, these people adopted the siege method. Brother, come on, this blood vine is so strong. An evolutionary shouted after seeing Lin Feng. This blood vine is constantly extending around, and if it is not killed now, it will become stronger and stronger. Lin Feng. Sun Shirchio turned his head and saw Lin Feng as well. Boom. An evolutionary blew up a blood vine. Immediately, though, more blood vines are coming. The blood vine to be prepared is the blood vine beast. Because this thing is also a kind of beast. It's just a beast in the form of a plant. To deal with the blood vine beast, you must hurt its core before it can be killed. The stronger the bloodvine beast, the longer these bloodvines outside, the more flexible and the harder it is to destroy. This bloodvine beast has reached the 4th level, and these evolutionaries can still destroy the bloodvines around it with a full blow. It's just that there are too many bloodvines that can't stand this guy. The evolutionary sent out 2 more blows, and his attack method was fire. However, the flames released did not do enough damage to the bloodvine, and there was no way to burn it in a large area. Therefore, what he uses is to condense the flame into a huge flame ball or a cracking flame flower to attack and blow up the bloodvine. But under the counterattack of more bloodvines, the evolutionary had to retreat. The bloodvine is still rapidly extending around, and where it touches, all the grass and trees wither. Became its source of power. More than a dozen evolutionaries use their own means, and at most slow down the speed of its expansion. If this guy continues to expand like this, the vitality of sucking more and more, it is possible to transform to the 5th order. On the other side, there is also a group of evolutionaries joining the battlefield. Lin Feng and Tong Tong also stepped forward. Lin Feng. After Sun Shurchio saw Lin Feng, he came towards Lin Feng. Seeing this, several of her little sisters also followed. Lin Feng, this bloodvine beast is a bit difficult to deal with. It's not easy to hurt its body. Let's attack from one direction together, break through the bloodvines around it, and then attack its body. The points will contribute to the amount of power. Sample? Sun Shurchio said. Lin Feng looked at the bloodvine beast and pondered, I'll try it first. After finishing speaking, Lin Feng raised his hand, and a ball lightning struck out. Ball lightning charged towards the center of the bloodvine beast. Before rushing, a large number of bloodvines swept up, forming a shield. Thunderbolt. The ball lightning was intercepted by those bloodvines. A large number of bloodvines were directly scorched black by electricity and lost their vitality. But Lin Feng's ball lightning was also blocked. Lin Feng didn't care, another ball lightning was thrown out, and then another. One by one. These ball lightnings keep throwing out. The bloodvine beast kept blocking it with bloodvines. Every time you block it, a lot of bloodvines will die. In a short period of time, Lin Feng threw dozens of ball lightning. This is not over yet, Lin Feng is still throwing. The bloodvine beast had already sensed Lin Feng's difficulty, but its bloodvine could not attack the current Lin Feng, so it could only keep on defending. However, the bloodvine was consumed too fast. Lin Feng is still throwing ball lightning. Beside, Sun Shurchio looked a little dull. Several of her little sisters also looked at it blankly. Not only them. The other evolutionaries couldn't help but look at them one by one. Ball lightning. I go, where did he get so much energy? A 3rd order thunder system evolutionary can't help it. He was also stunned. Ball lightning, he will too. As a genius, he researched ball lightning early and broke into Tier 3. Tier 3, the strength is already quite strong. With the energy in his body, if he attacks with all his strength in a short period of time, it is no problem to release dozens of small ball lightnings. However, to reach the size of Lin Feng's ball lightning, he estimates that he can only release a dozen or so, and he needs to replenish the energy. More than a dozen, but there is no way to break through the bloodvine defense of the bloodvine beast. This guy occupies a very large area, and there are too many bloodvines. Tier 3, the accumulation is still too weak. But Lin Feng has thrown 50 or 60 ball lightnings, but he is still throwing it like nothing else. It's like throwing it for fun. One after another. The bloodvine of the bloodvine beast was so blown up by Lin Feng that it couldn't keep up. It began to mobilize bloodvines from several other directions. But Lin Feng is still throwing. One another. Soon, the bloodvine of the bloodvine beast could not keep up. Tong Tong. Lin Feng gave a light drink. Meow. Tong Tong was already ready, and as soon as his claws moved, a huge ball of lightning rushed over. Lin Feng's ball lightning also suddenly became bigger, and then abruptly blasted the bloodvine beast's last line of defense. After the explosion, if Lin Feng can't keep up, the bloodvines in other directions of the bloodvine beast will immediately return to defense. But Tong Tong's ball lightning arrived, rushed in at once, and attacked the body of the bloodvine beast. Immediately, all the blood vines trembled. Then, the blood vines that were just showing their teeth and claws on the periphery disappeared in an instant. This bloodvine beast, just like this, was smashed to death by Lin Feng with ball lightning. I'm going. Who is this man? The Thunder System evolutionary stared out. Also genius. Why is Lin Feng so powerful? Back and forth, he smashed more than 100 large ball lightnings without any effort. The other evolutionaries couldn't help but look at Lin Feng. They didn't know Lin Feng. There are also a small number of evolutionaries, remembering that Lin Feng was the one who stood silently on the side when he was outside. They didn't care at that time, and they didn't even guess who Lin Feng was. But I never thought that Lin Feng's strength was so powerful. One person solved this fourth-order bloodvine beast, still in such a violent way. No, there is also a cat. However, this cat is obviously also Lin Feng's contract beast. Is his strength so strong? Seeing Lin Feng smashing the bloodvine to death, Sun Shirchio's eyes could not help shrinking. Lin Feng's strength is too strong. The point is, Lin Feng is still so young. Younger than her. She originally thought that Lin Feng was just a genius beastmaster. After all, Tongtong's previous strength in the defensive competition was quite strong. According to Sun Shirchio's estimation, Tong Tong was infinitely close to the third order at that time, and it might even be the third order. But I never thought that Lin Feng's strength is so powerful. I don't know which family he is from. Sun Shirchio thought. Meow. At this time, Tong Tong had already jumped over, and soon, Tong Tong took down the bloodvine heart of the fourth order bloodvine beast. Unlike other beasts, the bloodvine beast can't sell for much money, and this bloodvine heart is not worth much. It can only be regarded as a proof. The other dozen or so evolutionaries saw that Tong Tong had taken the heart of the bloodvine and did not have any opinion. After all, this bloodvine beast was killed independently by Lin Feng. Let's go, Tong Tong. After killing this fourth-order bloodvine beast, Lin Feng is not going to stay here. Picking up Tong Tong, he walked in one direction. Sun Shirchio was about to talk to Lin Feng, but he didn't want Lin Feng to leave directly, and the words suddenly got stuck. Soon, Lin Feng left here. Who is this man? I don't know, Sun Shirchio seems to know. This person is very strong, and there is a contracted beast. I don't know which family he belongs to. Other geniuses have guessed. Shirchio, who is he? Shirchio, no wonder your eyes glow when you see him, so handsome and so strong. Sun Shirchio's little sisters kept talking around her. Thunderbolt. Another bloodvine was killed. Tongtong's efficiency in finding bloodvines is still very high. So, until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Lin Feng received another message and asked all the evolutionaries to rush to the central area of the space crack. By the time Lin Feng arrived there, it was already dark. The evolutionaries have basically come over. After arriving here, Lin Feng found that there was a particularly huge bloodvine beast here. The range it occupies is as high as several kilometers. Became a giant. Good guy, this bloodvine beast, I'm afraid it is at least 6th order, or even higher. Lin Feng whispered. Some evolutionaries launched attacks from a distance, but even the bloodvines on the periphery of this bloodvine beast are very strong, and their attacks cannot be beaten at all. Soon, all the evolutionaries who participated in the trial came over. The bloodvine beast became more and more arrogant, and continued to expand around. The evolutionaries are also constantly retreating, seeing that the bloodvine beast is unstoppable. At this moment, in the sky, a terrifying thunder light suddenly fell. The Bloodvine beast responded quickly, and a large number of Bloodvines greeted it. But the thunder light was too strong, and all of a sudden, the Bloodvine beast was completely shrouded. This Bloodvine beast, which had grown up, was killed by a single blow. In the sky, the evolutionary who stepped on the thunder appeared. The blow just now was exactly what he sent. Immediately afterwards, in the sky, a bright little sun appeared, instantly illuminating most of the cracks in the space that had fallen into darkness. Several evolutionaries appeared at the same time, also appeared in the helicopter, and a large number of soldiers jumped down. Okay, all the Bloodvine beasts have been emptied. In this trial, everyone performed well. Now hand in the Bloodvine heart and count the points. The middle-aged man who stepped on the thunder said. The evolutionaries have taken out the heart of Bloodvines and counted them by special personnel. Different levels of Bloodvine hearts get different points. Lin Feng came to a warrior and took out a lot of Bloodvine hearts. So much. The soldier was a little surprised. After statistics, Lin Feng's points were finally calculated. 267 points. Warrior Road. 267 points, I don't know what level. For Lin Feng, this means that 26,700 contribution points should be able to be exchanged for a lot of spiritual soil in the Evolution Alliance. But as soon as the soldier's voice fell, several evolutionaries around him couldn't help but look at Lin Feng. Lin Feng looked at them and saw that they were all in the 20s. Look at it this way. 267 points, a bit high. Soon, all the points were counted. Tester number 680 has the highest points, and everyone else's points have been converted into contribution points. Tester number 680, please come forward. The middle-aged man's voice sounded. Lin Feng walked forward with Tong Tong in his arms. Other evolutionaries have seen that the thousands of evolutionaries here basically do not know Lin Feng, and all of them are a little curious about which power Lin Feng is. It's really him. Sun Shurchio showed an unsurprising expression. Before, when dealing with the fourth-order Bloodvine beast, it is not surprising that they have seen more than a dozen evolutionaries of Lin Feng's strength. 3 kinds of rewards, you can choose one. The middle-aged man threw a piece of paper over. After Lin Feng took it, he saw the reward above. The first one is 2,000 spirit stones. The second is that Lin Feng can choose a high-level cheat book at will. The third thing is that Lin Feng can choose the same high-level weapon. Secrets. Lin Feng chose the second one. Although the strength reaches a certain level, you can receive training books in the Evolutionary Alliance. But some 2 precious secrets are not easily open to the outside world. It's not that easy to get this. Okay, you can go back and choose from the Evolutionary Alliance. The middle-aged man looked at Lin Feng with a hint of appreciation. After all, being able to kill so many Bloodvine beasts is enough to show the strength of Lin Feng. Okay, this trial ends here, let's all go back. After the middle-aged man finished speaking, he flew into the sky again. The trial ends here. This trip, Lin Feng's harvest, is not small. A broken sword with the sword intent of a supreme power remaining in it, as well as the spiritual liquid and spiritual soil produced by the broken sword. A total of 8 spirit plants. There is also a spirit stone mine. After Lin Feng raised the space to level 2, there were still thousands of spirit stones left. There are more than 20,000 contribution points. And the final reward. At the same time, he also contracted a little fox. In a few days, there is such a harvest. This trial is still very worthwhile. Many evolutionaries began to return. At noon the next day, Lin Feng returned to Sioux City. During this time, Lin Feng naturally used up the acceleration time in the portable space. It can grow well. Lin Feng whispered. This trip is not a small gain. His strength has also improved. However, the current strength can only be compared with the younger generation. In Lin Feng's view, it is not strong enough. Now, it's time to digest the harvest of this trip. Lin Feng, you did a good job this time. I heard that you have the highest points. In the afternoon, Lin Feng met Lu Ru at the headquarters of the Evolution Alliance in Sioux City. Lu Ru was still dressed in black silk with long legs, but her demeanor seemed so solemn. However, there is a little bit of sexiness hidden in this solemnity. Lin Feng gave a and said, "Thanks to the qualifications given by the president." This is the truth. Without the qualifications given by Lu Ru, Lin Feng could not have achieved such a big gain. Growth will be much slower. Lu Ru showed a bright smile. "The qualification I gave you is the most worthwhile one I have given you. What kind of secret do you want to choose?" Lin Feng pondered for a while and said, "It's about boxing." Boxing. With the enhancement of the thunder element's power and spiritual power, there is a demand for secret books, but it is not particularly large. The most important thing for an energy system evolutionary is to continuously strengthen and increase their own strength, and many attack methods can be found on the internet, because the number of such evolutionaries is the largest. The reason why Lin Feng chooses boxing is that boxing can further increase the strength and flexibility of the body, as well as increase boxing spirit and improve boxing spirit. The body is the capital of revolution. Lin Feng hopes that he can launch powerful attacks again and is still a super big MT. In this way, when using sword intent, it will be more sharp. As for the secrets of swordsmanship, Lin Feng doesn't need it. It is enough for him to constantly comprehend the terrifying sword intent that has been solidified. Okay, it's all here, you can choose for yourself. Lu Ru handed the tablet to Lin Feng. Lin Feng looked at it for a while and finally chose one. Broken Star Fist. High-level cheats, the name is very straightforward, but the description is very good. Okay, I'll have someone pick it up for you. Lu Ru said. President, I also want to exchange some spiritual soil. Lin Feng said again. The spiritual soil in the spiritual liquid pool is extremely abundant, but the amount is too small, only a few squares. Lin Feng's space area is further increased, and he needs too much spiritual soil. Spiritual soil? Of course, I'll give you a 50% discount. Lu Ru said. Lin Feng came to her directly, and it was really beneficial. If you exchange it yourself, there is no 50% discount yet. Thank you, President. Lin Feng said. Soon, Lin Feng got the Broken Star boxing manual, and at the same time, he also exchanged all the contribution points in his hand into spiritual soil. The price of spiritual soil is not cheap. After Lu Ru gave Lin Feng a 50% discount, she needed 50 contribution points, plus 5,000 yuan per ton. This is the lowest level of spiritual soil. If it is too advanced, there will be no more. If you want it, you have to wait. However, as soon as it came out, it was exchanged. After receiving the contribution points for killing beasts, Lin Feng sold the body of the black snake directly to the Evolution Alliance and got some contribution points and money. The corpse of the fourth order black snake still has some valuables. In particular, the scales of this black snake's corpse can protect against 4 levels of energy attacks. These scales are very valuable, can be used to make some protective clothing and the like. These scales, on the contrary, are the most valuable part. Tongtong destroyed more than 20 pieces at that time, but there were still a lot of scales that were not destroyed. Finally, after the black snake corpse was sold, Lin Feng received 5,000 contribution points plus 1 million. Not bad. After getting money and contribution points. Then, Lin Feng exchanged 700 tons of spiritual soil. In exchange for these, Lin Feng has no contribution points. The money was almost spent. 700 tons of spiritual soil, not too much, but not a lot. Lots of plants can be planted. After putting all these things into the space, Lin Feng went to buy a lot of daily necessities and entered the portable space. In the carry-on space, it now looks very dangling. 700 tons of spiritual soil were piled together to form a small hill. On the side, there are a lot of stones. These stones were brought in by Lin Feng along the way. He wants to make his space and terrain a little richer and get some hills and the like. In this way, the surface area can actually be increased. The central area is for living. Lin Feng planned. The central area is regarded as your own living and living area. On the right side of the central area, it is planned to be Lin Feng's training area. On the top, it is planned to be a dense forest, which is specially used for planting spiritual plants of trees. Spiritual plants such as flowers are planted on the left. As for the bottom, you can make a pond and plant spiritual plants of the water system. Well, it doesn't matter if you don't have a spiritual plant, just carry ordinary water plants. Lin Feng doesn't believe it. With the talent for evolution, it will not become a spiritual plant for a long time. After having a rough plan in mind, Lin Feng found that it was another super project. Sky, 80,000 square meters of space. How long will he be busy by himself? 80,000 square meters, equivalent to 120 acres of land. Unless Lin Feng hires workers to come in, he will be busy himself, and he doesn't know how long he will be busy. By the way, why don't I use architectural talent? Lin Feng suddenly felt that he was too stupid. Building talent, which can be used to automatically build buildings in space. But who stipulated that a building must be a house? I want to build a mountain, can't I? I want to lay a piece of land, can't I? I want to build a pond, can't I? Thinking of this, Lin Feng immediately tried. He opened the control panel of the space and clicked on the architectural talent. Then, start planning. Build a small hill first. See you soon. A large number of stones began to move automatically. It worked. Architectural talent not only can be used to build houses, it can also be so useful. How wonderful. Lin Feng hadn't thought of this before because of his mindset. Seeing that the construction of the space can be completed through architectural talent, Lin Feng does not have to be as busy as before. He came to the room. Meow, Tong Tong is here. Next to Tong Tong, there was a little snow-white fox. The little fox is actually bigger than Tong Tong. Her injuries have already completely healed. Lin Feng also gave her a bath. Her fur is snow-white and snow-white, very soft, which makes her look extra cute. Lin Feng also gave her a name. Little Snow. Very simple name, who made her be Xuehu. In the past few days, the changes in Xiaoxue are not ordinary. Under the leadership of Tong Tong, Xiaoxue was also literate and often learned with Tong Tong. Lin Feng found out. Xiaoxue's own strength is not bad. After recovering from the injury, Xiaoxue showed her second-order strength. The growth of her strength should be inseparable from the spirit stone mine. Unfortunately, the time left for her and her family was too short, and the black snake noticed the clue and went to find it. The evolution direction of Xiaoxue is somewhat different from that of Tong Tong. Xiaoxue's body is also constantly getting stronger. But Xiaoxue's spirit is stronger than Tong Tong's. She also has some hallucinogenic abilities, and at the same time, Koyuki has the ability to manipulate the wind. In the space, Xiaoxue stayed with Tong Tong many times. From time to time, he would also stay in a daze near Lin Feng with Tong Tong. It seems to be in a daze, but it may also be in an epiphany state. Lin Feng also took some time to teach Xiaoxue a lot of things. The architectural talent of the space is still continuing to build the space in the direction Lin Feng wants. After the acceleration time is over, the entire space has changed a lot. To the north of the space, there are some rolling hills. Make the terrain of the space richer. On the hill, a layer of spiritual soil was first covered, and the surface layer was the nutrient soil purchased by Lin Feng. Lin Feng also buried some spiritual stones in the soil, so that the soil can retain spiritual power. On the left, the land is quite flat, and this is also a combination of spiritual soil and nutrient soil. Below is a small lake that is already full of water. On the right is the training area planned by Lin Feng, which is quite large. Lin Feng purchased enough materials to make it beautiful through the architectural talent of the space. In addition to his own training area, Lin Feng also built a training and play area for Tong Tong and Xiaoxue. Tong Tong is getting smarter and stronger. But Tong Tong is still like a little lowly, with some playfulness from time to time. Her favorite thing is to act like a spoiled child in front of Lin Feng. Rubbing Lin Feng with her small head is her signature move. After the preliminary construction is completed, the planting of plants will depend on Lin Feng himself, which does not take too long. Lin Feng transplanted all the spiritual plants found in the space cracks to the small hill in the north. These spiritual plants need a certain growth distance. A lot of flowers were planted on the left. In the lake, some aquatic plants have been planted, and according to the information we have learned so far, there is a great chance of mutating plants. In addition, the hut where Lin Feng lives has also been expanded. Now that there are more spiritual stones in his hand, Lin Feng also used a spiritual stone as the energy source for the hut. This piece of spirit stone can be used for a very long time in the hut. After all, there is nowhere to use it other than lighting and hot water. When the space is closed, mobile phones and the like cannot contact the signals of the outside world. In addition to the accelerated 5 hours, Lin Feng spent a total of 3 days to get all these things done. After getting it done, the entire space has undergone some changes compared to before. It's done. Lin Feng clapped his hands, satisfied, admiring his own space. Meow. Tongtong and Xiaoxue also came. Looking at the greatly changed space, Tongtong was also very happy and took Xiaoxue to have fun in the space. Lin Feng looked at the previous plants. This look. Lin Feng found that the lotus flowers in the small pond had changed a lot during the few days he went to the trial. Lotus spiritual sense has become stronger. Not only that, the lotus seeds on the lotus side have also matured. Please give me your name. Lotus has been able to communicate with Lin Feng. She has no name yet. Let's call you Bai He. Lin Feng pondered for a while and named the lotus flower. Bai He. Thank you, Master. Lotus Road. Master, these lotus seeds have undergone a certain mutation. After you eat them, it will be very beneficial. Bai He said again. It is good. Lin Feng picked those lotus seeds. When doing it, Lin Feng found that these lotus seeds are indeed different, and some of them have further mutated. Mutation talent can not only mutate ordinary plants into spiritual plants. It can also make some fruits in Lingji undergo secondary mutation. After putting away the lotus seeds, Lin Feng took a look at Tao again, only to find out that the peach tree where Tao was located was also bearing fruit. This peach tree has also become a spiritual plant. Of course, it's an ordinary spiritual plant. Taoyao's strength has become stronger, and her pollen has reached a new stage. Big brother, give you pollen. Taoyao's voice sounded. Then came the fragrance of flowers. This time, the pollen was much better than before. As a result, Lin Feng spent a lot of time here in Taoyao, digesting all the effects of the pollen. His mental strength has also been greatly improved. After reading Taoyao, Lin Feng went to see the trees that were planted before. It was found that the second mutated spiritual plant was already covered with fruits. Not only that, but another tree has become a spiritual plant. There are also 3 trees that are mutating towards spiritual planting. In this way, with the spirit plants found in the space crack this time, the number of spirit plants in Lin Feng's portable space has exceeded 10. The number will continue to increase. Leave time. Lin Feng and Tongtong Xiaoxue eat lingua every day. I am afraid it will not be a problem. And the flowers he planted have already transformed into spiritual plants. These flowers have not yet given birth to spirituality. But a rose flower has obviously become different. It is extraordinarily gorgeous, and there is a faint birth of spiritual consciousness inside. Once born, it is the 3rd flower that gives birth to spiritual consciousness. Lin Feng's space has initially become prosperous. Tong Tong, Xiaoxue, here's one for you. Lin Feng gave Tong Tong and Xiaoxue a lingui each. Meow. Tong Tong ate one. Xiaoxue also ate. After Lin Feng ate one himself, he went to the training area, where he practiced Star Breaker Fist. After Lin Feng's strength was improved, the effect of these newly mutated spiritual plants became much weaker. This is normal. The strength is stronger, and the things that were useful before are not necessarily useful now, or the effect will be weakened. There is room for evolution and mutation talents. These spiritual fruits will continue to evolve, and they will keep up with Lin Feng's strength in the future. In this way, Lin Feng continued to develop silently in his own space. He still has a lot of spirit stones. There are also more than 10 prescriptions of spiritual liquid in his hand. The effect of these spiritual liquids is not weak. Now Lin Feng can drink a big bowl every time. 2 days later, Lin Feng looked at Tong Tong, who was fighting with Xiaoxue, but didn't find it very enjoyable, and said, Tong Tong, let's go, we are active. The sparring match has begun again. Cut off. Cutting the beard is secondary. The important thing is to let Tong Tong practice his hands and see how Tong Tong progresses this week. He came. After another 2 days, some young beastmasters shouted in the arena of the defending competition. Many of these young beastmasters came to watch the fun. Now, Lin Feng and Tong Tong are already well known among the young beastmasters. Hey, how did he get to ring number 3? These beastmasters soon discovered that Lin Feng actually walked to the number 3 ring. That is, the arena for the 22 to 23 age group. There, an ice pattern tiger just won the battle. Lin Feng directly raised the sign. I'm going, he's going to ring number 3. The young beastmasters rushed to the number 3 ring. This contestant, please come on stage, the referee said. Lin Feng walked up. Who is this person and why is he so young? It's not even 20 years old. It seems to be the Beastmaster who made a little bit of fame in the number 1 ring in the past 2 weeks. So arrogant, so young, dare to challenge the Ice Tiger. Seeing Lin Feng taking the stage, the veteran Beastmasters below the number 3 ring all started to talk about it. Lin Feng looks too young. It's like a junior high school student using high school exam papers to challenge a high school student. Even if they are not the objects to be challenged, these Beastmasters are naturally uncomfortable. Soon, Lin Feng took the stage. On the opposite side, the owner of the ice pattern tiger saw Lin Feng and was a little unhappy. What kind of cat and dog dare to come up? My name, Li Ping, is so ineffective. The owner of the ice tiger snorted softly. The time has already passed 5:30, which is the authentic time to cut who. Lin Feng is so young. He doesn't come up in the morning or evening, but he comes up at the time of who. In the eyes of the owner of the ice pattern tiger, this is a deliberate attempt to humiliate him. Tong Tong, let's go. Lin Feng patted Tong Tong. Meow. Tong Tong jumped onto the ring. Start. The referee has no ink said. With the voice of the referee. Roar. The ice pattern tiger swooped and launched an attack. Meow. Tong Tong also rushed over. As soon as the tiger's claws moved, Tong Tong's surroundings instantly froze. But the strange energy turned around on Tong Tong, and the ice shattered one after another. Then, Tong Tong escaped the tiger's claws and jumped onto the head of the ice pattern tiger with an extremely flexible posture. The little paw groaned. Roar. The ice pattern tiger was called heavily to the floor by her. Tong Tong slammed down again. Roar. The ice pattern on the ice tiger's body lit up, and a layer of ice armor appeared on its head, but the ice armor was directly shattered by Tong Tong's claws. There is a terrifying power hidden in Tong Tong's small claws. When the claws go down, the head of the ice pattern tiger has a gold star. Being called out in pain. How so? Below the arena, the other veteran Beastmasters were all dumbfounded. This is too fierce. That ice pattern tiger is 4th order. Nima. I was still thinking of challenging him, but luckily, he didn't make it to the first ring. The 18 to 19-year-old Beastmasters were even more stunned. Some of the children of the big family who were going to come to Lin Feng to challenge them were even more fortunate when they saw it. Lin Feng's cat was so fierce that even a tier 4 ice pattern tiger was beaten to the point of being unable to fight back. If they go up, how badly will they die? Li Ping also stood up suddenly, with an incredible look on his face. He was still thinking about letting the ice pattern tiger teach Tong Tong a lesson, but he didn't think so. As soon as they fought, the ice pattern tiger was beaten by Tong Tong. This Nima. How is this possible? Roar. The ice pattern tiger was completely stunned, screaming in pain from there. I surrender. Li Ping finally reacted, and if he didn't admit defeat, the ice tiger might be killed. In fact, due to his surprise, his reaction was a bit slower, and the ice pattern tiger had already suffered a lot. Tong Tong, it's all right. Lin Feng said lightly. Meow. Tong Tong just let go of the ice pattern tiger. Li Ping stepped down with a dizzy ice pattern tiger with an ugly face. He won. It's too fierce. It's only been 2 weeks. Is this cat so strong? Below, these young beastmasters were also deeply shocked by Tong Tong's strength. The veteran beastmasters were also talking there, and some veteran beastmasters couldn't believe it. There are 10 minutes to 6 o'clock. Contestant number 110 wins. Let's start the next game, and all challenges can be staged. The referee's voice sounded. I come. An old-fashioned beastmaster couldn't sit still and decided to try it himself. However, soon, the contracted beast of this veteran beastmaster was defeated by Tong Tong. This time, no one went up. After all, Lin Feng is so young. They are several years older than Lin Feng, and they are somewhat humiliated if they go up and lose. It's 6 o'clock. When 6 o'clock arrives, it means that Lin Feng succeeded in cutting Hu. Let's go. Lin Feng left with Tong Tong in his arms. Meow. Tong Tong let out a meow, as if to say that it was fun to play. In the space, with Xiaoxue and with Lin Feng, she couldn't play to the fullest. The harvest of cutting Hu is also good, more than 200 spiritual stones. For the current Lin Feng, it is nothing. But it's not a lot, it's a good pocket money. Water power. In the space, with Lin Feng's soft words, the water in the lake turned into a large number of water arrows. Through the mutated lotus seeds, Lin Feng successfully awakened again. With this awakening, Lin Feng has mastered the power of the water system. Not only that, those lotus seeds can also further increase Lin Feng's strength in the water system. Here at the lake, Lin Feng came to the training area after trying the water system power for some time. Here, Tong Tong and Xiaoxue are discussing. Tong Tong, come. Lin Feng said. Meow. Tong Tong's claws raised, and an electric arc struck. Lin Feng punched out. We'll see. The arc sent by Tong Tong was shattered by Lin Feng's fist before it touched Lin Feng's fist. Thunderbolt. Tong Tong kept sending out arcs. Lin Feng also kept breaking the arc. Such battles are constantly being carried out in space. Now, the special training area planned by Lin Feng is very large. Enough for Lin Feng to toss with Tong Tong. After training the fist intent for a while, Lin Feng realized the sword intent. In this process, from time to time, an epiphany will be triggered. True meaning for levels. Lin Feng whispered. Follow the introduction in Shattered Star Fist. Really, there are 4 levels in total. Awakening level, micro level, transformation level, extinction level. The awakening level is the level after awakening the true meaning. At the micro level, that is, the micro level, the ability to use and master the true meaning is further deepened, reaching the level of nuance. The transformation level, the use of true meaning, has reached the level of perfection. And then it is the strongest destroyer. There are also some differences in each level. There is definitely a difference between the first entry and the peak. And the difference is not small. To break through to the corresponding level, one needs to comprehend, the other is to need a lot of practice, and there is a strong requirement for the strength of the body. The level of the true meaning itself and the strength of the martial arts evolutionary are actually not equivalent. Some martial arts evolvers themselves can exert their strength comparable to the third and fourth ranks, and they may still be awakening in the true sense. Lin Feng's current fist intent has broken through the awakening level and has reached the level of beginners. Sword intent has reached the late stage of the micro-level. The same as the micro-level, the gap between the two is actually very large. If it is a sword intent at the peak of the micro-level, just relying on the sword intent, it should be able to exert an attack power comparable to the fifth order. Lin Feng thought. He continued to comprehend. With the help of sword intent on broken sword, Lin Feng's progress in sword intent was exceptionally great. So, before you know it, another week has passed. After this week passed, Lin Feng stood up, used his finger as a sword, and slashed out. Ahead, a large amount of gravel was quietly cut from the middle. The pinnacle of micro-level. Lin Feng whispered. This week, Lin Feng successfully comprehended sword intent to the peak of the micro-level. In this way, with only the sword intent of entering the peak of the micro-level, Lin Feng can exert an attack power comparable to the fifth order. Although it is only offensive, it is sharp enough. Of course, not only sword intent, but also great progress in other aspects. However, sword intent has made the greatest progress. Looking at the time, it is already the weekend. This week's progress is very big, but the consumption of spirit stones is not small. Lin Feng is ready to take Tong Tong to the event again. See how Tong Tong is doing this week. Tong Tong, go, let's go to activities. After 5 p.m., Lin Feng set off with Tong Tong again. At around 5:30, Lin Feng came to the venue for the sparring match again. He really came. Some beast masters looked at Lin Feng when they saw Lin Feng. In today's venue, there are more people, and a large number of beast masters have come. Lin Feng went straight to the number 3 ring. There, today was dominated by a large red eagle. Haha, you are finally here. Come on, let me meet your cat. When the owner of the red eagle saw Lin Feng coming, he laughed. This guy, surprisingly, also came to Lin Feng. It is estimated that after seeing the battle between Lin Feng and the Ice Tiger last week, he came here specially to find a place for the veteran beast masters. Even the Ice Pattern Tiger was defeated by this guy. The owner of the Ice Pattern Tiger was sullen in the ring. Because the owner of the Ice Pattern Tiger also wanted to get back to the game this week, but now there is no chance. Even if Chi Eagle defeated Tong Tong, it had nothing to do with him. Lin Feng walked up with Tong Tong in his arms. Go, Tong Tong. Meow. Tong Tong jumped into the ring. Start. The referee ordered. The red eagle fluttered his wings and rushed towards Tong Tong, opened his mouth and spit, and immediately, the entire arena was enveloped in flames. Go back. Some of the surrounding beast masters stepped back one after another because the temperature of the flame was too high. If it weren't for the special protective net of the ring, it would melt at such a temperature. The strength of this red eagle is very strong. Meow. But immediately, a cat meow sounded. Immediately afterwards, in the flames, the cry of the red eagle rang out. After the flames dissipated, other people looked at it and were immediately dumbfounded. Because the red eagle was being trampled on the ground by Tong Tong, and it was about to die. I go. The owner of the red eagle couldn't collapse. I surrender. He also had to admit defeat. Lin Feng successfully cut the beard again. It's over. How do I feel that this arena is going to be dominated by him? Yeah, I feel the same way. Below, the veteran beast masters talked a lot, and they all felt a sense of desperation to be dominated. If Lin Feng occupied the number 3 ring, wouldn't they never be able to get ahead? Through the battle with the Red Eagle, Lin Feng saw the changes of Tong Tong this week. She is stronger. Moreover, not only is the attack strong, Tong Tong's defense is not bad. The flame of the Red Eagle, the temperature is terribly high, but it did not cause any harm to Tong Tong. After returning to the space, Lin Feng smashed dozens of spiritual stones. In the past week, Lingji has matured a lot in the space. Many of the spiritual plants obtained in the space cracks have come to fruition. The effects of these spirit fruits are not the same. Most spiritual fruits have the effect of strengthening the body. Like the peach tree where Tao is located, the spiritual fruit that grows can also nourish the source, that is, prolong life. The evolutionary itself, as the strength increases, the lifespan will also be extended. The spiritual fruit of the mutant peach tree, the extended lifespan is extra, and it also has the effect of delaying the aging of the face. Meow. Tong Tong and Xiao Xue helped Lin Feng harvest spiritual fruit. Good harvest this time. There are a few spirit plants that bear dozens of spirit fruits at once. Although they are all low-level spirit fruits, the number is here. Now, for a period of time, you can eat lingua as a meal. Tong Tong, Xiao Xue for you. Lin Feng gave Tong Tong and Xiao Xue some spiritual fruit. Meow. Tong Tong rubbed against Lin Feng and ate the spirit fruit with relish. Xiao Xue was a little envious because she also wanted to rub against Lin Feng. Seeing her little expression, Lin Feng touched her little head. Eat it, Xiao Xue. Hey! Xiao Xue ate the spirit fruit. Lin Feng also ate the spirit fruit himself. After resting for a few hours and starting a new day of acceleration, Lin Feng realized the sword intent again. He wanted to work hard and let his sword intent reach the transformation level. Therefore, Lin Feng realized from time to time. At the same time, other powers have not fallen. Meow. On this day, Tong Tong saw Lin Feng and sighed with emotion. After cutting a huge stone with a sword intent, he jumped over. What's the matter, Tong Tong? Lin Feng asked. Meow. Tong Tong pointed at Lin Feng and then at the large stone that was cut open. Then, she pointed to herself. Tong Tong, do you want to try my sword intent? Lin Feng understood what she meant. Meow. Tong Tong nodded. Lin Feng wants to test sword intent? Sword intent is very sharp, although Lin Feng's sword intent has not broken through the transformation level, but the strength of the fifth order is not enough. No, even the ordinary fifth order, it is difficult to follow. Because the sword intent is too sharp. Martial arts evolvers, especially those who cultivate swords, are feared because the sword intent is too sharp. Only. Sword intent is indeed sharp, and there are not many people who have practiced sword intent to a high level. Unlike the evolutionary of the energy system, as long as there are enough good resources in space, the difficulty of going up is not particularly high, even if it is a little slower, but you can always get through it. In the past few days, Tong Tong's strength should have been above the 5th rank, right? Then try it. Lin Feng is interested. Meow. Tong Tong jumped to the opposite side. Xiao Xue watched with relish. I'm here, Tong Tong. Lin Feng used his finger as a sword, and a sword intent came out. Tong Tong felt the fast attacking sword intent, and strange energy appeared on his claws. Then she saw her claws raised, blocking Lin Feng's sword intent. Are you all right, Tong Tong? Lin Feng's concerns. Meow. Tong Tong raised his paws. It's perfect there. Tong Tong really blocked Lin Feng's sword intent. However, just now Lin Feng did not use all his strength. I'm here again, Tong Tong. Lin Feng sent another sword intent. Tong Tong raised his paws and blocked it again. Meow. She hadn't forgotten to raise her paw at Lin Feng. This was not to be shy, but to tell Lin Feng that she was not injured. Let Lin Feng feel at ease to attack. Therefore, Lin Feng exerted all his strength this time, and a sword intent that reached the peak of the micro-level attacked. Tong Tong's expression became serious. When her little paw moved, strange energy surged on the paw. The paws came up again. Sword intent was blocked again. Are you okay? Tong Tong. Lin Feng asked quickly. Meow. Tong Tong raised her claws. Lin Feng saw that the claws were fine, but the strange energy on her claws had consumed a lot. That said, Tongtong was able to block the sword intent that Lin Feng urged with all her strength. In the past 2 weeks, her strength has grown somewhat astonishingly. Tongtong came to rub Lin Feng again. Tongtong's strength has risen rapidly. No wonder. The feedback Lin Feng has received these days is also rising. The strength of the body has also increased a lot. Seeing that Tongtong's strength has risen, Lin Feng gave her more spiritual fruit. Xiaoxue's strength has also risen quite rapidly. Lin Feng didn't forget her either. As for Taoao and Bai Ling, as well as a rose flower, they don't need spiritual fruit or the like, as long as they have enough spiritual energy. Seeing that Tongtong has made such great progress, Lin Feng is also quite happy. Meow. On this day, Tongtong made a new discovery. After Lin Feng woke up, she came to Lin Feng's bed with Xiaoxue and looked at Lin Feng with 2 pairs of cute eyes. "What's the matter, Tongtong?" Lin Feng asked. "Meow." Tongtong pointed to the outside. "Is there another plant variation in the space?" Lin Feng walked in. Tongtong and Xiaoxue lead the way. Lin Feng followed behind. Soon, out of the yard, came to the middle position. There is a small square here, and around the small square, there are paths leading to 4 directions. The small pond where the lotus is located is on the edge of the square. In one corner of the square, there was also a copper pole with a small flame burning on it. This is used for lighting behind Lin Feng. After all, there is no light source in space. Of course, the space is not completely dark, and the space wall will bring some shimmer, but if there is no other light source, the hole will become very dark. "What's in here?" Meow. Tongtong raised his paw and pointed to the copper rod. "Copper rod?" Lin Feng looked up. There was nothing on the copper rod except the small flame. Flame. When Lin Feng sensed it with his mental power, his expression changed a little. Because, in his perception, the small group of flames is a little smart. Give him a feeling of being born spiritual. Even the flame has changed like this. Lin Feng was a little surprised. He feels. "Does your space have any hidden talents?" Even this flame has mutated. Lin Feng's mental power stroked the flame lightly. The weak spiritual consciousness in the flame trembled slightly because Lin Feng's spiritual power was a little too strong for this spiritual consciousness. There is a feeling of a behemoth. Although trembling, the weak spiritual consciousness in the flame did not reject Lin Feng, and there was a feeling of wanting to be close. Look at it this way. As the master of space, the spiritual consciousness born in the space is born with closeness and incomparable loyalty to Lin Feng, the master of the space. After careful observation for a while, Lin Feng decided to continue to let this flame grow. Just let it grow and see how this flame can grow in the end. So, Lin Feng's daily walk after dinner has one more thing. Every day, I will come to see the situation of this flame. By the end of this week, Lin Feng found that the spiritual consciousness of this flame had grown stronger. In addition, Rose Flower's spiritual consciousness has also grown. Can communicate with Lin Feng. Lin Feng also gave the Rose Flower a name. It's called Rose. The spirit stone is almost gone. This week, although the changes in space are great, the growth of strength is also great, and the consumption of spirit stones is also amazing. Who made the space? There are so many spiritual plants and life that need aura. Many spiritual plants have undergone further transformation, and the consumption of spiritual energy has become greater. Therefore, the spiritual stone obtained from the space crack is almost useless. On the contrary, there is still some spiritual liquid. Go to the defensive competition first, and then go to the evolutionary alliance to test your strength. Lin Feng has a plan. In the League of Evolutionaries, according to different strengths, you can also receive different spiritual stone rewards. As for the sparring competition, it is mainly to train Tongtong's hands to see the specific strength of Tongtong. So, this weekend, Lin Feng went out with Tongtong. "I'm coming." Unsurprisingly, as soon as Lin Feng appeared, he was surrounded by the Beast Masters. Today is lively. There are several genius Beast Masters from major forces waiting for him. There are many Beast Masters watching the excitement today, and the stands are full of people. In the number 3 arena, a contracted beast, a lightning leopard with lightning all over his body, also looked at Lin Feng. After the owner of the Red Eagle was defeated last time, This beastmaster from a powerful force decided to teach Lin Feng a lesson. Let Lin Feng know. Ring number 3. Not everyone can come up. Lin Feng should go back to ring number 1 obediently. Lin Feng hugged Tong Tong and walked towards the ring. Around the number 3 arena, after a challenger failed, there was no one else to challenge, and all were waiting for Lin Feng. But, in the eyes of these people, Lin Feng turned around. On the way to ring 4. Soon, Lin Feng came to the number 4 ring. At this time, on the number 4 ring, there happened to be a challenger who failed. Lin Feng raised the entry card. The beastmasters who were watching Lin Feng suddenly froze one by one. They thought that Lin Feng would come to ring 3 this week. Unexpectedly, Lin Feng actually went directly to the number 4 ring. Is it a little too arrogant? On the number 3 ring, the owner of the lightning leopard was also stunned. He waited here for a day today and was about to teach Lin Feng how to be a man, but he didn't expect that Lin Feng actually went to the number 4 ring. Is this guy so arrogant? Please come on stage for this contestant. The referee's voice sounded. Lin Feng boarded the ring. What are you doing so young? It seems to be the one who cut who in ring 3 last week. Look, everyone from ring 3 is here. Ring number 3? Can it be compared to ring number 4? This person is too arrogant. Under the number 4 arena, the veteran beastmasters aged 24 to 25 were dissatisfied one by one. The beastmasters in the number 3 ring also came over. In the number 3 ring, no one challenged the lightning leopard. The owner of lightning leopard also looked at Lin Feng. Seeing Lin Feng on the ring, the owner of the lightning leopard snorted softly. I didn't expect that there are people who are more arrogant than me. Wang Cheng, let's see how you die. On the number 4 ring, the ringleader also saw Lin Feng. The person from ring 3 last week? After the master's gaze swept over Lin Feng, he guessed Lin Feng's identity from the reactions of the many beastmasters below. After guessing Lin Feng's identity, the ringleader of the number 4 ring was also a little unhappy. After all, Lin Feng is so young. It was still in ring number 1 a month ago. Went to ring 3 last week. And this week, actually came to the number 4 arena. Does this look down on him? Go, Tong Tong. Lin Feng patted Tong Tong. Meow. Tong Tong jumped onto the ring. On the opposite side of the ring is a lion that looks quite majestic. The lion's paws lightly scratched on the ground. On the ring, the solid ground was like tofu, and deep scratches were scratched by it. This time he is going to kick the iron plate. The strength of this lion has already broken through the 5th order. In the number 4 arena, it is the existence of the overlord level. Oh, that's what he deserves. Just now, it's easy to break. This person is too strong and so arrogant. Sooner or later, he will suffer. Below, many veteran beastmasters are waiting to see Lin Feng's good show. There are also some young beastmasters looking forward to it. As an old beastmaster, seeing such an arrogant and cross-age challenge from such a young beastmaster is naturally unhappy. The beastmaster, who is about the same age as Lin Feng, is happy to see it. Start. The referee's voice sounded. Roar. The lion roared. The protective net of the arena was already lit up because the roar of this male lion contained a very terrifying sonic attack. If not protected, the people below will be injured. I saw that with the roar of the lion, the air in the arena was almost emptied. If this is a weak mutant animal, this roar is enough to kill the opponent in seconds. On the opposite side, Tong Tong seems to be a small boat in a stormy sea, giving people a feeling that it will sink at any time. Meow. Tong Tong also made a sound. Compared with the roar of the lion, Tong Tong's voice was too small. But as soon as Tong Tong's voice came out, she rushed out like lightning. Looking at her appearance, she was not greatly affected by the roar of the male lion. When the male lion saw Tong Tong rushing towards him, the lion's claws were violently dispatched. Thunderbolt. The terrifying electric arc struck down, but the male lion was unmoved at all. Not even blocking, the lion's claws grabbed at Tong Tong. This guy doesn't know how to harness supernatural powers. It was able to hold the number 4 ring with this extremely terrifying body. I saw that after the arc hit, it landed on the male lion, but its lion feathers were densely arranged in an instant, as if it had turned into an iron armor, which abruptly blocked Tong Tong's arc. This guy is really strong. At the same time, its lion claws had already caught Tong Tong. This guy's lion claw is so fast that there are after images in the air. Tong Tong was still in the air, and seeing that he couldn't avoid it, he simply couldn't avoid it, and the little paw called out fiercely. On the claws, strange energy also appeared. The huge lion's paw collided with Tong Tong's small paw in the air. Roar! The next second, I heard the lion let out a painful cry. The bones behind its claws are almost broken. This guy's body is really strong, and he was not turned over by Tong Tong's paw. But after Tong Tong succeeded in one hit, he had already used his strength to jump up. The male lion quickly retreated, and at the same time reluctantly attacked with the lion's claws. Tong Tong unceremoniously went up with another paw. The lion was in more pain now. Tong Tong took the opportunity to jump on its head, and the little claws screamed. Roar! The male lion was screaming in pain. The scene from last week was staged again. The difference is that this time, the lion is stronger. He was stronger and held on for a few more seconds before being beaten by Tong Tong on the ring. Below, many Beastmasters have been dumbfounded. Some veteran Beastmasters who were just waiting to see the joke were all sluggish. Gone. On the number 3 ring, the owner of the lightning leopard almost jumped up. How is this possible? The lion's owner couldn't believe it at all. After being stunned for a few seconds, seeing that the lion has been praised to death, the lion master said extremely unwillingly, I admit defeat. It's over, I'm really going to be dominated by him. An old-fashioned beastmaster said desperately. Tong Tong, you did a good job. In just 3 weeks, Tong Tong was able to easily defeat the 5th order mutant animals. These 3 weeks. Lin Feng took Tong Tong's xiaoxue to digest the harvest in the space crack. Their respective gains are not bad. This time the harvest is not bad. There are nearly 400 spirit stones. After leaving with these spirit stones, Lin Feng came all the way to the Evolution Alliance to test his strength. Lin Feng is not going to test the Sword Intent, but is going to use the Sword Intent as one of his trump cards. What he tested was still the power of the Thunder element. Boom! An arc strikes the energy display. The numbers are skyrocketing. Then another arc struck. Lin Feng continued to attack for 3 minutes before he stopped. The high-level test is not only about attack strength, but also the accumulation of strength. Middle stage 5. Seeing the value on the energy display, the expression on the tester's face couldn't help but linger. This tester already knew Lin Feng. What, he has reached the 5th level? In the office, after Lu Ru got the news, a surprised look appeared on her pretty face. Yes, President. The assistant of the hip skirt said. It's only been so long, it's the 5th order. I have to see him. Lu Ru stood up and walked down. Soon, Lu Ru saw Lin Feng, who was receiving the spirit stone. Lin Feng, wait, you don't need to collect the spirit stones. Lu Ru said. Lin Feng, who was about to collect the spirit stone, looked at Lu Ru in confusion. Let me help you replace half of the spirit stones with intermediate spirit stones. What do you think? Lu Ru said. Intermediate spirit stone. Lu Ru explained. The amount of spiritual energy in a middle-level spirit stone is equivalent to 100 current spirit stones, but the aura is more pure. Intermediate-level spirit stones are very rare and only found in very large spirit stone mines. After listening to Lu Ru's explanation, Lin Feng was of course happy. Okay, thank you, President. Lin Feng said. No thanks, you can tell me if you need anything else. Lu Ru said. President, I also want to pick up some books. Lin Feng said to Lu Ru. Books? Good. Lu Ru said. This time, Lin Feng has a lot of books to pick up. Although all of them can be picked up after reaching a certain level of strength, what Lin Feng has registered is only a Thunder-type evolutionary. In theory, books from other departments cannot be accepted. For example, if Lin Feng wants to receive the books of the Fire Element evolutionary, it will not work. Unless Lin Feng is registered as a Fire Evolver. However, through Lu Ru, it is enough. Lin Feng received a large number of more advanced cultivation books at once. After saying goodbye to Lu Ru, Lin Feng returned home. The harvest was good this time. The spiritual stones in his hand were enriched again. Can be used for a while. In one go, Let's rush the sword intent to the transformation level. Lin Feng has a plan. He came to the training area, turned on the gravity change, and realized it. Once I realized this, I realized it for more than 10 hours. 10 hours later, Lin Feng's sword intent failed to reach the transformation level, but he accidentally awakened a new power. Gravity control. Moreover, not only Lin Feng awakened, Lin Feng found that Tong Tong seemed to be too. Do not. It seems that Tong Tong met first, and feedback some of the power back, plus Lin Feng was in a state of epiphany at the time, so he suddenly woke up. Gravity control. As soon as Lin Feng moved his hand, the surrounding gravity began to change. In space, although there is gravity talent, the gravity talent of space cannot be used in the outside world, nor can it be used for combat. But after gravity control became a skill, it was different. In the battle of the outside world, it is terrifying to suddenly change the gravity or even form a force field. For the current Lin Feng, 10 times the gravity is not a problem. But what about being able to control 20 times, 100 times, or even higher gravity? The impact on combat power is also very large. Meow. Tong Tong's little paws raised, and I don't know when, her control of gravity has become quite skilled. Tong Tong, you did a good job. Lin Feng touched Tong Tong's little head. Unexpectedly, Tong Tong actually mastered another ability on his own. Moreover, this ability was fed back to Lin Feng through the contract of space. Let Lin Feng also awaken from this. This is great. Lin Feng seems to have found a shortcut for laziness. In the future, it seems that Tong Tong and Xiaoxue can go to learn the cultivation books he brought back. Wait for them to learn. Lin Feng waited for feedback. It seemed that it would be fine. Will they protest against the abuse of child labor? Lin Feng couldn't help but find it interesting. Today's Tong Tong is almost like a little lowly. As for Xiaoxue, Lin Feng felt a little bigger, maybe it was equivalent to an underage girl. However, they also loved to read books. Especially children. Every day, I would come to Lin Feng from time to time to communicate. After this awakening, Lin Feng has more and more power. Thunder, water, spirit, 2 true meanings, and now, there is one more gravity control. In addition, Lin Feng's body is also very strong. There are more and more means. Moreover, these means are not weak. Go on like this. Lin Feng feels that in the future, he will have what others have. He has what no one else has. And he's not alone. It's a great feeling to slowly become stronger like this. Lin Feng sat comfortably in the chair. Eat grapes. These grapes, also planted by Lin Feng, are just ordinary grapes. But when grown in the space, it tastes much better than the grapes outside. Moreover, this grape has also been showing signs of mutation recently. If this is mutated, the grapes will also become delicious, and the effect will also become more. After Lin Feng took a few pills, he thought it was hard to peel them, so he simply stopped eating them. Meow. Beside him, Tong Tong looked at his little paws, as if he wanted to help Lin Feng peel the grapes. However, although her claws are sharp, they are not very good for peeling grapes. Neither does Xiaoxue. The cat and the fox looked at each other. Tong Tong turned and ran towards Taoyao. Lin Feng tried gravity control again. Although he has just awakened, perhaps because Lin Feng uses multiple gravity training every day, his gravity control is not weak by nature. In just a short time of trying, Lin Feng has been able to increase the gravity by 6 times. Just woke up. The comprehension has been getting higher and higher recently. Lin Feng also made new discoveries. The comprehension talent of space is really good. Rest for a while, and then charge the sword intent to the transformation level. Lin Feng thought. The gap between the micro-level sword intent and the transformation level sword intent is too great, as if there is a gap between them. Even though Lin Feng could perceive the sword intent of the strongest on broken sword, he always felt that there was a layer of paper. However, this layer of paper, in Lin Feng's opinion, is about to break through. So, Lin Feng closed his eyes and regained his senses. Close your eyes for a while. Lin Feng felt that there seemed to be movement next to him. They should be Tong Tong. It is absolutely safe in the space, and no one else can come in, so Lin Feng doesn't care. Meow. Tong Tong's voice sounded. Really? It's Tong. Soon, a grape appeared beside Lin Feng's mouth. Huh? Grape. Tong actually learned to peel grapes? Lin Feng was a little surprised. He did not open his eyes, but opened his mouth and ate the grapes. However, when eating, Lin Feng's lips touched two delicate fingers. Finger? Lin Feng opened his eyes subconsciously. The goal is a small white and tender hand. Hand? He turned his head. Then he saw, on his right, a girl wearing a pink skirt and veil who looked like a beautiful girl was standing there. There was a slight smile on her face. Girl. In his space, a cat and a fox. Where did the woman come from? Big brother, it's me. The girl spoke softly. She opened her mouth. Lin Feng heard it. This is Taoyao's voice. Did this girl change from Taoyao? A single flower Taoyao can still become a girl? Lin Feng looked at the girl and found that the girl's face really had a feeling of peach blossoms. She doesn't look very old, only 17 or 18 years old. However, there was not much greenness on his face. Instead, it was full of some kind of coquettishness. However, it is not the same as that of a mature woman. In this kind of charm, there is obviously a trace of purity. The lethality brought by this mixed temperament is enormous. Are you Taoyao? Lin Feng asked, not very sure. Meow. Tong answered for her. Lin Feng knew that she said yes. Well, big brother, I'm Taoyao. Taoyao said. Lin Feng stood up and looked at it carefully. How did you become human? Lin Feng asked. Taoyao said, Big brother, I don't know either. It can change suddenly, but it won't last for too long now. I'll peel the grapes for you first. After speaking, Taoyao picked up the grapes and peeled them. Here, big brother. Taoyao peels one off and feeds one to Lin Feng. Seeing that Taoyao made a special trip to peel the grapes for herself, Lin Feng was embarrassed not to eat it. While eating the grapes that Taoyao peeled, he looked at Taoyao. Soon, Lin Feng made more discoveries. For example, in the current Taoyao, there is still a feeling that the body is not solid. She also had a very nice scent on her body. I don't know why she has the shape of a girl all of a sudden. Could it be that evolution has also reached a new stage? Soon, the grapes were finished. Big brother, I have to go, I'll come back tomorrow. After Taoyao finished speaking, it turned into a large number of peach petals and headed towards the peach tree. It's really her. Seeing that Taoyao had turned into a peach blossom again, Lin Feng followed. Meow. Tong and Xiaoshui also followed. Soon, Lin Feng followed Taoyao's peach blossoms to the peach tree. It was found that these peach blossoms quickly returned to their positions and reformed a very gorgeous peach blossom. After discovering Lin Feng's arrival, the petals of the peach blossoms slightly expanded outwards, which was to greet Lin Feng. Big brother, I'm going to sleep for a while. Tao Yao's voice sounded in Lin Feng's mind. After speaking, she was silent. It seems that she has just become a girl, and the consumption of her is probably not small. Tong Tong, did Tao change a few days ago? Lin Feng asked Tong Tong. Because the actions of Tong Tong and Xiao Xue before can explain the problem. Meow. Tong Tong nodded. Lin Feng understood. Tao should be the changes that have taken place in the past few days. However, when Tao became a girl earlier, it shouldn't last long. So she never said it, and Tong Tong and the others also helped her keep it a secret. It seemed that he wanted to give Lin Feng a surprise. After the space is upgraded to level 2, the evolution of all life in the space is further accelerated. Tao Yao's evolutionary direction itself is different from other spiritual plants. Other spiritual plants, no matter how they evolve, are only spiritual plants. At most, from the primary spiritual plant to the intermediate spiritual plant, and then to the advanced spiritual plant, there will be no birth of spiritual consciousness. After watching Tao Yao for a while, Lin Feng went to see the lotus flower again. Tao Yao has such a change. In the future, he will not become a girl too, right? In the small pond, the white lotus still bloomed beautifully. Her abilities are related to water. Under her control, the water in this small pond became very clear, and there was also fog floating on it from time to time, giving people a rather aesthetic feeling. Master. Baihe's voice sounded. Baihe, can you transform into a human like Tao Yao now? Lin Feng asked. Changing into an adult? Baihe tasted these 4 words and said, Master, Baihe can try it. It seems that Baihe still won't. Her evolution itself started a little later than Tao Yao. Lin Feng took another look at Rose. The current Rose, obviously not yet. However, after hearing Lin Feng talk about it, Xiangwei also felt eager to try. After Lin Feng looked around like this, he returned to the training area. He took out a sword and began to practice it. In this way, he further increased his understanding of sword intent. Finally, breakthrough. 20 hours later, a smile appeared on Lin Feng's face. His sword intent was transformed once again. From the peak of the micro level, it broke into the transformation level in one fell swoop. Transformation level sword intent. Now, it can be used as a veritable whole card. After Lin Feng consolidated the transformation level sword intent, he sat on a chair and rested. Big brother, are you tired? Tao Yao's voice sounded. Lin Feng looked back. Tao Yao came again. Tao Yao first handed Lin Feng a cleaned spirit fruit. Then, he peeled the grapes for Lin Feng again. After Lin Feng finished eating the grapes, Tao Yao stood behind Lin Feng and pressed Lin Feng's shoulder. Tao Yao's hand strength is suitable, and it is very comfortable to press. Being pressed by her, after comprehending the sword intent for so long, Lin Feng, who was rather tired, fell into a deep sleep. When Lin Feng woke up, Tao Yao had already left. However, Lin Feng found that there was a plate of peeled grapes next to it. Soon, Lin Feng found out that the dirty clothes in the room had been cleaned. The entire room was also cleaned. These are all made by Tao Yao? Lin Feng thought. Tao Yao, you're really diligent. In the portable space, with Tao Yao, it seems to be more fun. The time for Tao Yao to change into a girl every day is also increasing. At first, it was only a few minutes. So far, it has increased to more than an hour. After more than an hour, the increase slowed down again. During the time she changed into a girl, Tao Yao always came to Lin Feng's side. No matter the details, help Lin Feng solve the trivial matters in life. Although I feel like this continues, I will lose the ability to take care of myself. But it was quite comfortable to be served by Tao Yao like this. At least, when Lin Feng wants to eat grapes, he doesn't have to peel the grapes himself. Boom! A stone was punched into countless pieces by Lin Feng. The effect of the intermediate spirit stone is indeed much stronger. Lin Feng whispered. The aura in the intermediate spirit stone is more refined. The effective use is also stronger. This time, Lin Feng didn't get many intermediate spirit stones, only 15. But these 15 intermediate spirit stones are equivalent to the 1500 elementary spirit stones used by Lin Feng before. Intermediate spirit stones also seem to be quite rare. Like Lin Feng, the spiritual stone ore found in that space crack has more than 10,000 spiritual stones. However, there is no intermediate spirit stone in it. Spirit stone mines with intermediate-level spirit stones are estimated to exist only in particularly large spirit stone mines. These spiritual stone mines are also the focus of competition between humans and aliens. After Lin Feng used the intermediate spirit stone, he found that the intermediate spirit stone had a particularly good effect on improving the body when practicing boxing or swordsmanship. Much better than the primary spirit stone. Intermediate spirit stones are not suitable for crushing. When the strength of the evolutionary is weak, it is also a waste to use the intermediate spirit. Basically, if you need to use it above the 5th level, it will not be a waste. Above the 6th rank, use the intermediate spirit stone, the effect will be better. Lin Feng also gave Tong Tong and Xiaoxue a piece each. After Tong Tong got the intermediate spirit stone, the choice was, just eat a small piece. This kind of behavior of eating Lingsher as food also shows from the side how powerful Tong Tong is now. An intermediate-level spirit stone is still enough for Tong Tong to eat for a lot of time. When Lin Feng was developing silently in space, west of Sioux City, here is the outermost defense line outside the Soviet Union. It has thick reinforced concrete walls. There are a lot of complicated patterns on these reinforced concrete walls. These patterns represent some spiritual formations. The spirit array is injected with spirit stones, and after lighting, it can defend against some powerful attacks. There are many soldiers patrolling the defense line. In the sky, drones can also be seen flying around. Behind the line of defense, at intervals, there will be a small town. These towns are responsible for the supply of the defense lines. If you want to get out of the defense line, you must also go out from these small towns. Such a line of defense is still very solid, especially after the spirit array is activated. Outside the defense line, ordinary people are basically invisible. However, there are still some evolutionaries who are hunting beasts. There are still a lot of beasts kept by aliens. Through these beasts, aliens can well limit the range of activities of most humans. It can also bring enough interference to some evolutionary activities outside the defense line. These beasts are also very difficult to eradicate. Boom. At this time, in a dense forest, several evolutionaries joined forces to kill a group of beasts. After killing them, they put the corpses of these beasts into their portable space, preparing to sell them after returning to the city. What sound? At this time, an evolutionary seemed to hear something. I'll take a look. An evolutionary pilot flew the drone into the sky. But the drone flew up not long ago, and with a whoosh sound, the drone was shot down by something. Boom. Then, the ground shook. It was as if 1,000 beasts were running. I'm going. This is a beast tide. An evolutionary complexion changed said. Beast tide. Every once in a while, the aliens will launch a terrifying wave of beasts to attack the human city. The number of these beast hordes is huge, even if the strength of a fierce beast may not be strong, but when the beasts are galloping, the power is not to mention how great. Suching is a big city with a population of several million. When facing the beast tide, you have to be careful. Because behind the beast tide, it is very likely that there are aliens. Quick escape. An evolutionary way. They are still Tier 3 evolutionaries. Although the strongest one has reached Tier 4, it is absolutely impossible to stop the beast tide. The drowning has drowned you. These evolutionaries have fled to the defense line. In the rear, the beast tide is frantically rushing towards the defense line in the west of Sioux City. In the beast tide, I don't know how many beasts there are. While the evolutionaries fled, they sent the news of the arrival of the beast tide to the online warning. Soon, the news of Sioux City's encounter with the beast tide spread everywhere. When Lin Feng left the space, he just saw the news. Beast tide. How come there is a beast tide at this time? At this time. At the headquarters of the Evolution Alliance, Lu Ru stood up with a dignified expression on her pretty face. President, I just received the news that both Juanqing and Huqing have encountered a beast tide, and Haiqing also encountered an attack by sea beasts. The scale of the beast tide is not small. At this time, the assistant with the hip skirt came to report. Have all encountered a beast tide? Lu Ru frowned. Looking at the time, the beasts of the alien race have not reached the end of their lifespan. The beast tide launched by the aliens also has certain rules. This kind of rule is that when the beasts stalked by aliens are approaching their lifespan, they will drive these beasts over to attack human cities. Ferocious beasts grow fast and die fast. Animal-like beasts generally only have a lifespan of 1 or 2 years. The lifespan is coming to an end, and it is natural to use the waste. Of course, this is a general rule. If the aliens aggressively attack the human city, they will directly let the beast play the front line regardless of whether the beast has reached the end of its lifespan. These beasts can bring a lot of consumption to humans. When aliens have some special purposes, they will also launch beast tides. President, could it be because of that space crack? The assistant guessing the hip skirt. Lu Ru's expression became a little serious. This is what I'm worried about. A large number of strong people are competing with the aliens for the space crack, and the aliens are now launching a beast tide, which may be putting pressure on us to force us not to send more powerhouses go in. The hip-packed skirt assistant nodded beside him. To be Lu Ru's assistant, her strength and brain are not bad. Lu Ru said with some worry, however, it is not impossible for the aliens to launch a large-scale attack while taking advantage of the situation. After all, the city lord is not here now. After making a guess, Lu Ru took out her cell phone, walked to the side, and made a phone call. A few minutes later, she reappeared next to the assistant and said, to release the task, we must mobilize all the evolutionists in Sioux City to defend this beast tide. Yes, President. The assistant posted the task. The beast tide is here again. In the room, Lin Feng looked at the screen of the tablet computer. There are some beast tide videos taken by evolutionaries in the wild. I saw fierce beasts all over the mountains and plains. I don't know how many beasts are galloping. After 18 years, Lin Feng has experienced a lot of beast tides. There have been dozens of beast tides, big and small. The scale of these beast swarms can be large or small, and the small ones are fine. They will not cause too much damage, and they will basically be prevented. Large-scale beast tides are often used to cooperate with the attacks of aliens, and twice even hit outside the city of Sioux City. The west side of Sioux City was completely destroyed. Of course, that was 10 years ago. In the past 10 years, the strength of human beings has become stronger and stronger. In addition, there are a lot of cities in the area where Sioux City is located. Under the coordination of the Evolution Alliance, the cities support each other. This rarely happens. In the past, Lin Feng could only be in Sioux City when the beast tide came, and was just as frightened as everyone else. Meow. Next to him, Tong Tong raised his paws when he saw the video of the beast tide. She is not afraid of these beasts. Xiaoxue is more curious. Xiaoxue grew up in that space crack since she was a child, and she has never seen a beast. The video is not long. After reading it, Lin Feng found that a lot of news appeared on the internet. The Evolution Alliance has released a mission? Lin Feng clicked on a message. The content of the message is simple. The Evolutionary Alliance has released the task of fighting the beast tide. Every evolutionary person in Sioux City who participates in the fight against the beast tide will get double the usual contribution points. When the number and strength of the beasts killed reach a certain level, there are additional rewards. Double the contribution points. Seeing these words, Lin Feng became interested. Contribution points are still useful, and they can be exchanged for a lot of things in the Evolution Alliance. It's just some tasks released by the Evolution Alliance. Lin Feng is not very interested. It's a waste of time because you need to run around. To fight the beast tide, you only need to go to the defense line and wait for the beasts to attack. In comparison, it is much simpler. What's more, in the past 18 years, Lin Feng has experienced so many beast tides. Now that his strength has increased, he also wants to meet the beast tides for a while. In the real battle, the strength that has soared these days can also be consolidated to a certain extent. Let's go, Tong Tong, let's do some activities, Lin Feng said. Meow. Tong Tong rubbed against Lin Feng. Hey, Xiao Xue is also a little eager to try. So, Lin Feng let Tong Tong and Xiao Xue enter the space and went out. There is no need to pack things because they are all in space. In his current room, he is only used to rest his feet, plus supplies such as water that can be easily replenished. As soon as he went out, Lin Feng found that the streets of Suching were already very lively. There are more and more vehicles out of town. A large number of evolutionaries are rushing to the western defense line. Not only the evolutionary people, but also a large number of ordinary people are also rushing to the western defense line. Vehicles heading for the western defense line also became tense. This time, the scale of the beast swarm is very large, and the entire Sioux City, the people with fighting ability, are basically dispatched. It could be said that the whole city was dispatched. Going to the western defense line is free, and there are 15 more positions. A bus pulled up, the driver shouted. Immediately, many people waved. Seeing this, Lin Feng also followed, preparing to take this bus to the defense line. If it is late, it is estimated that it is not easy to get a car.